they both went in. MG will go down because he took a 1v6 in there. He will be the first to fall. And that means the fight's essentially over, but they will start rezzing people back to life. Both now up 6v6.
6v6, and we get a rinse and repeat. Undead has connected with Swoosh, though. Those missiles, the rockets actually doing the damage. Tvek's still alive, though, and he is perfectly capable of doing tremendous damage himself. Although there it is, the barrage, and Tvek, no way for him to cancel it, but somehow he survives.
He survives because Zupe came out of spawn, and he's got his Valkyrie up. Everyone's going to get that chain healing. A later Valkyrie used by the Florida Mayhem means that they will hold on this defense. Shanghai, not for nothing, did get a third here, so they're going to have another couple pushes. 90 seconds remains in their time bank.
MG, this is what you do. You let the baby diva run. Although Tvek doesn't have a shred of mercy, he's actually going to beat her to death. But really what you want to do is let that diva stay alive, because then she'll have trouble getting that mech back. It could delay things further. So small details that you guys can take away and start using in your own games.
It's one of the biggest downsides to D.Va is that she's able to be staggered so effectively when she gets out of mech. You see it a lot. It's a big part of the strategy. And anytime you can delay a team that only has 90 seconds left, that might just win you the map.
60 seconds.
Yeah, exactly. We hear it. Voice of God right there. 60 seconds left.
Huge Valkyrie advantage on the side of Shanghai. On paper, this is a fight they should win, and that's a great start for them as well. Maniton out of the mix.
And on high logic. No way! Kobe! That's one way to handle the Pharah. Just drop a pulse grenade on her, pulse bomb. That's it. Logic's keeping the pressure up.
Both resurrections used out of this Valkyrie, which was the huge advantage here. If Florida's able to stall out at all, Zupe will have his Valkyrie. It does come online right now.
What is this tire? Really got the mileage on that one, Tvek. And well, Swoosh just punching people in the face. That's what he loves to do. And it is looking like it's kind of petering out here for Shanghai Dragons. They have got 15 seconds left on this clock to make a play, and Swoosh not going to let them get out in one piece either.
So there's three things we know about Swoosh. He likes to dance, he likes beef teriyaki, and he likes punching people in the face.
All of those key, perfectly acceptable. I'm fine with that.
I like to hang out with him. It sounds fun. At least the first two.
There we have it. Time runs out. Shanghai not quite able to make it happen. And it's kind of a similar situation to what we had on Dorado, right? They get one tick on this point. In the second point here of Anubis, Dorado, same thing. Got the first point in overtime and then just maybe got like a tick worth of progress on that payload.
It's just been about pressing their advantage when they have it and not necessarily knowing when they have the advantage. The top level teams not only know when to use their ults, but they know what ults they're going into. And they know when they have a 20% Valkyrie lead and they can press that and win the fight. They had a huge Valkyrie lead. They should have got in there. Of course, a nice pulse bomb by Logix came in and it threw a wrench into those gears. But it's just about finding your window and exploiting it that I think Shanghai's missing out on right now.
There's monstrous pressure on these players as well, considering they are the only Chinese team in this league. You are not supposed to go down at the bottom of the league right now, and so that is definitely playing a factor here in this roster's performance as well. They've just got that in the back of their head, like, we are failing right now, and this is not good. And so they need to turn it around. It's a matter of shaking it off, because Florida Mayhem have certainly shown that they are mere mortals. They are not at the top of the league right now. They are in the same boat. So just start rocking it, Shanghai, come on.
One of these teams will get a win. One will be still without a win, joining Dallas at the bottom. Dallas will have a chance, though, later today to get that 0 out of the win column. Shanghai still trying to find the right compositions here. It's still going to hurt them that they don't have a natural projectile player, nor do they have a natural Zenyatta. The way this team was built was a little bit questionable in who they brought for supports. However, I do want to tell people who don't necessarily know, a lot of the best players that you wish were on this roster are ineligible. They're too young to play in the Overwatch League.
There is a 17-year-old cutoff, essentially. And so a lot of the big talent in Shanghai, well, in Shanghai and China, unfortunately not able to make the roster, but still, it is just a matter of time. It is a long season, and so there are plenty of opportunities here for Shanghai to turn things around. And while this is perhaps one way to do it, I mean, they've decided to go for the McCree play on Undead instead of sticking to the Widow. I mean, Hex, what do you make of that?
It's his best hero by a long shot. He's a great McCree, and I think we'll probably see him when we go into Control next. However, map-wise, it's not something you see on First Point Anubis almost ever, a defensive McCree here. And the reason being is there's too much distance between where the team is going to come in from for you to do effective damage. You're essentially going to let them in, and Tavik shuts down Dia immediately with a huge headshot.
And there we go. Zushu gets baited out. The trick. Oh no, and now Tavik cannot, well, he just go and link up with the rest of his team if he wants to. He even left a little present there for Zushu. Definitely not going to be happy about that, the monkey. Oh, well, that's a strong start here for Florida. They're picking them off one at a time. High ground is still occupied by Shanghai. They still have something to work with there. Altering can still be in the fight. Just keep getting closer and closer to that Valkyrie as well. That's going to be so important here to perhaps turn the tide versus Florida. But Florida nearly halfway there to picking up the first point, and Vic still reigns supreme. He's hitting shot after shot.
They're still going to come in and try to pressure. The Zushu finally goes down as an afterthought in the back lines. He was alive very long. They are working their way towards these ultimates. They have resurrection available, but where Zushu died is unresable.
Here we go, the Transcendence. Now Tavik can't really do anything here. So long as his teammates stay within that circle, they should be fine. It's about the sight lines, and somehow Tavik still finds a kill on Dia, who has not had a great first point here. Unfortunately for him, that pulse bomb will go unused, and this might be it for Florida. The self-destruct to buy a bit more time here, and Logix will dodge it using the recall, and even cancels out MG. Super solid stuff coming in here from Florida.
Transcendence heals everyone very quickly, but burst damage will go through it. The only one invulnerable is that Zan, which is why they lost their Tracer in that fight. The burst damage from Widow, too strong. The decent thing is that Zupe had to use his ultimate, and now they take down Altering. Logix going to town.
It feels like Logix is starting to come into his own here. He's had a few good moments on that Tracer. He's definitely a solid Tracer player as well.
Both supports now down for Florida, though, so if they're going to do this, it's going to have to be a grit and determination battle. They only need one tick on the point, 33% of progress. But now with Maniton being demacked, it might be time to reset.
Solid. Swoosh realizes the game is up and just throws him in there. Throws himself in there, rather. Just dies. And so he will come back to life with the rest of his team, and they will be able to move together as a unit. Logix rocking the pulse bomb for now, but we will have a self-destruct from Maniton. Could be a bit fun to chuck that onto the point, create some space.
So interesting enough, on defense, they switched a bunch of heroes to get out there for stall. Moira, of course, has movement ability and speed to get on the point. Free Fuel went to that. Undead is on this Doomfist. I think that might have been a stall tactic, but now he's just going to roll with it. Yeah. Doomfist is very popular in the Chinese meta.
And well, he had a chance. You can see what he was thinking there as well, because he was lined up with the Junkrat coming through on Tavik. MG finds the kill on Tavik, though, with the syrup, but it's not going to be it. A little bit too late there, and Florida Mayhem will pick up the second map in this series of 4. Undead, I mean, I like the thought. You can see it right there. He was lining up that punch, and that's a one-hit kill if he lands it on Tavik, and so that could be a play, but he just wasn't quite able to connect.
I would like to see them just run their best heroes. Run some Doomfist, run some McCree, run some Widow. What you're trying is not working. However, yesterday we saw an 0-2 that got ran back by the Gladiators, so Shanghai is not out of this one yet.
Yeah, that was a style and play there from Logix. Glad to see him coming into his own. It seems like that pressure probably easing a little bit on him. We're starting to see some style points.
That's the response to Shanghai.
The Overwatch League is brought to you by Omen by HP and by Intel. Things are looking good for Florida, currently up 2-0 over the Shanghai Dragons. Welcome back to halftime, ladies and gentlemen. It's Bucket here with Reinforce and Sideshow. And Florida got off to a hot start. We're going to jump right into our Dorado coverage by focusing on the DPS, because coming in, we knew the strengths of Florida, but we haven't had time to really just watch these two players go off. Logix is going to open things up here, and today we got a chance to see him on multiple heroes, Reinforce.
Yes, we started off with the Soldier, of course, and this is something they've run in the past, utilizing the high guard onto Dorado. But of course, then we saw him flex onto the Tracer, and that has been the shining hero for Logix, which we talked about in the pre-game. Hasn't really been his best hero thus far in the Overwatch League, but going up against the Shanghai Dragons, he gets a lot more space onto that Tracer, and I mean, he's just popped off the series.
Sancho, after watching these highlights, why would you ever take Logix off of the Soldier 76?
He is fantastic on it, but he really made his name on Tracer, and in previous methods throughout 2017, Tracer was by far and away the most important hero that you needed somebody to carry on, and he is phenomenal. If you take a look at these statistics, he is doing so much damage, and his eliminations are 33 for 2. He is charging his ultimate on average every 43 seconds. And that is compared to a league average of about 65 seconds and Dia on 68 seconds. This is a massive difference. What's that, 25-second difference?
Yes.
He's charging it that much quicker.
And they're really abusing the lack of good tanks in the Shanghai Dragon squad, because he's building these ultimates onto the big targets, the D.Va and the Winston. And so when Shishu jumps in, when MG follows, that's when Logix strikes and it hits up those tanks and break them down before even Shanghai Dragon can set up a proper dive.
Now, what's most impressive as well, though, is that he's not just doing that. You do see some Tracers who just farm the tanks. Logic's actually going for a load of 1v1s and taking the 1v1s against Dia, against Undead, and he's still being able to keep up this level of damage done, so he's having a great game so far. And this is kind of what we wanted to see from Logix. We haven't seen this level of Tracer play coming out from him, even though in 2017, in online tournaments, we saw this a lot.
He's back, baby. Logix is back, and so is his buddy Tvik, the Swede, going off. We watched him at the World Cup. Tvik is back at his best here today. Let's take a look at some of his moments from Dorado. Now, while Logix is kind of playing back on the Soldier, Tvik started off early on playing the Tracer role.
Yes, he played the Tracer, and that's initially because they want to flex to the Widowmaker later on, where he got all of those picks. Once again, because the Shanghai Dragons tanks, Chishu and MG, jump towards the payload and play a lot more objective, sometimes diving onto Sevosai and Supe. Tvik has so much space on the Widowmaker, constantly going for flanks. We saw it on Anubis, point A, where Tvik was often in a pretty awkward position, away from the Florida Mayhem squad, just so he could find those picks. And when Shishu on the Winston isn't jumping on Tvik, Tvik is popping off.
I feel so bad for altering so far throughout this series. Every time you look at that Mercy from Shanghai Dragons, it's either Tvik or Logix all over him. There's a few of the numbers coming in from Tvik. Fantastic start as they get a big win on Dorado. Let's now take it over to our second map, and that was Temple of Anubis. It started off with Florida Mayhem looking like they were going to full hold. Eventually, the Shanghai Dragons were able to break through. As we look at some of the highlights here, talk me through the first half. What was happening here for the Dragons?
They were struggling really to establish a foothold in point A. We said at the beginning that their Widowmaker, whoever was playing it, Undead or Dia, it ended up being Undead, would have to go huge if they were going to have a chance of being able to win Anubis. Unfortunately, we didn't. Yeah, that's crazy, isn't it? Just such a cool pulse bomb coming out from Logix. But we saw Undead play some of these projectile heroes. He was playing the Pharah. This is Shanghai Dragons diversifying the heroes that they're able to play on. And previously we saw this from Dia. So they've got the flexibility on their DPS players, but they were unable to really pull it through to secure both of the objectives there.
All right, so we are seeing a little bit of different hero compositions coming through. As you saw in that clip, a little bit of hit scan being played by Undead, while Dia was focused on the projectiles in the past. This time around, it's Undead on the Pharah. What do you think is working out best? If you're looking purely at the DPS heroes, who's best sorted for which?
I think if you're looking at this Shanghai Dragon squad, you need to figure out what they're the most comfortable with. Someone in the crowd was really excited about the Doomfist pickup, but then Tvik just swapped to the Junkrat and shut it down immediately. So I'm not quite sure Shanghai Dragons know what they want specifically, what they want to play. So they need to figure out a simple style, stop flexing so much, and just adapt to a single thing. Like we've seen a lot of teams just opt for the Genji and Tracer. Find your own niche, if you want to put it that way. Just play with the Widowmaker and the Tracer if that's what you like the most.
We know that this squad is coming to the Blizzard Arena. They're preparing even on non-match days from 10:30 a.m. all the way to midnight. Now that includes some breaks, some communication sessions where they talk over things, and also their meals. But they're in this building. They are living and breathing Overwatch right now. It looks like today they're having a little bit more success flexing Shishu over onto this Winston. What have you thought of the tank play so far, Sideshow?
Yeah, individually, I don't think that Shishu is a better tank than Roshan in terms of just his individual play. But the synergy seems to be there between him and MG, much better than when we saw Roshan and MG play together. Now, I don't know what that is. Maybe it's calling and communication. Maybe it's just the natural play styles of these two guys. Maybe it's just because they put in the effort to focus on tank synergy. It's impossible to tell looking from the outside, but I do think that this looks like a fairly decent route for Shanghai Dragons going forward. I can see promise in Shishu playing this, and he also plays the Pharah, he also plays the D.Va, so this does give them a bit more flexibility. This is the best time to experiment, right?
Johnny, final question for you, Mr. Reinforce. As we take a look at the future maps, we're going to Ilios next. If Shanghai is going to stay alive and make this one competitive, who is the player to pop off?
I think it has to be Undead. If we're going to Ilios, I think we'll see some Pharah and some Widowmakers. So I think that Undead has to be the one that pops off for this Shanghai Dragon squad.
All right, we are officially 50% of the way done here through the day. Are you guys having a good time? We got at least 6 more games coming your way after this commercial break. The Overwatch League is brought to you by Toyota. Let's go places.
Lot going for Florida Mayhem here as they go on the attack. Shanghai Dragons will go ahead and win that attack round. Zebasai Firing from on high. Roshan back on the point right now. That's nice. Dia does get another one. There's one more, but Tavik says, no problem, man. I got the barrage. Gets a couple there, and Logic's with the cleanup.
All right, welcome back, everybody, from the break. It is halftime. Well, halftime is over, Hex, and now we move into the remaining 2 maps in this series between Shanghai and Florida Mayhem. Both of these teams are 0-3 in the league. It's been a bit of a rough start for them. There's a lot on the line today because you really don't want to be the first team to go 0-4.
No, you don't, and we may come across as a little harsh on Shanghai. It's just so frustrating for me personally. I've watched these guys play. I did 6 weeks of the Overwatch Premier Series, which is one of China's best tournaments. And so watching these players who I know are so talented being unable to put it together and win maps is super frustrating. We are headed into Ilios. This is Undead's best map. We've seen Pine go absolutely off on McCree. It's a good McCree map. Undead, we started calling Deadeyes Undead Eyes because he gets himself in great position. He goes up the stairs. He generally knocks a Fair Mercy out of the sky if they choose to run that. So this is a map where Undead could go absolutely off on McCree.
So neither of these teams have elected to go for the subs either, so it will be the same rosters that we'll be seeing here for Shanghai. I know I don't need to say neither because obviously Florida Mayhem only have the 6, but Shanghai Dragons, they are staying with the same 6-man roster here for the remaining, well, for this map at least. They can still change between maps, and so if it gets down to the wire, to the last map, they could still decide to bring Roshan into the mix if they want. But yeah, in general, these control points can get a bit more chaotic, right? You know, when you're going on assault or something, there's a lot of strategy involved, and perhaps the timing is going to be a bit more key. Here in control, here in control, it can be a bit more chaotic. It can get a little bit dicey, and so perhaps Shanghai, that is a way, you know, as you say, if this is Undead's turf, maybe it's his chance to shine, and we're going to see Shanghai be able to pull through here for a W.
It's a map type where your DPS can carry you to victory, and the best players on this Shanghai roster are their DPS players in Undead and Dia. Of course, we're going to start off on Ruins, which means we're going to see Widowmaker. Can Undead take down Logix in this fight? It all comes down to that early on, and actually, I'd like that Shanghai's not subbing out. Roshan has been a fine player, but Zushu's had a really good game so far on tank.
Yeah, as far as, you know, Shanghai, the positives there, Zushu, he has definitely shown us a different level today. He has been trying to peel, trying to make it happen. It seems like the communication just needs to get improved a little bit so that he gets a little bit more support from MG, from altering. And so we have to see there's still time here for Shanghai, and well, you can see Undead. He is not really like what you'd call a patient, you know, Widowmaker. He really just kind of hunts for frags, for flicks, you know, tries to make it happen very quickly.
He's going for it. He had a sightline on that Mercy, unable to connect with a shot. He knows that the Widow is over there as well. He's trying to dodge shots as he tries to get some in right now. However, first real control going over to Mayhem early. Undead will fall. Logix takes 2 down quickly. Manitin will clean up the scraps. And it seems like first control of Ilios Ruins will go over to the Florida Mayhem.
At least Dia didn't die to Zebasai. that's a real feel-bad moment. If you're playing Tracer and you take an orb to the head from the Zenyatta that you're trying to gank and it doesn't work out, that's a sad, sad feeling if you're playing Tracer.
Tracer dies to everything. A soft whisper will kill a Tracer. That 150 HP goes very, very quickly. Tavik is now going to try to hit that stick. Unable to connect with that one, though, being very aggressive on this hold so far in Ilios.
Yeah, I mean, you'd think she's British. You know, they live off of banter. They should, I mean, you a little thicker skin there, Tracer, come on. It is not the case right now. Tvig still trying to harass in the back line, trying to buy the time, and of course with recall he can get himself out of harm's way, no problem, and he is on the hunt. He's spotted Dia, already seen that he's trying to make his way around to the point. Zebasai in the meantime will be rezzing Manitin, and Dia wins the duel versus Logix, but thanks to the Valkyrie, Florida Mayhem still able to get the resurrects.
They forced out the Valkyrie, brought up 2, and now they have their own Valkyrie bringing up their fallen heroes as well. Zushu and Dia now back in the mix. Shanghai with a small advantage right now. That's a bigger advantage, but the Pulse Bomb will mitigate most of that. Both tanks now out of the fight. Dia doing his best to hard carry here.
He is really doing the damage, you know, with those kills on Zupe, with pressuring the back line, more importantly, forcing Florida Mayhem to fall back, to give ground, allowing for Shanghai Dragons to start pushing out from their spawn, and at least having a fight here on the point, but it didn't go their way this time, and Florida Mayhem 75% and counting. And so Shanghai, this is where, you know, those screws got to start to get a bit tight.
There's a lot of pressure on them because they've been using the Valkyrie later, and those are times where you need to get the kills to make the fight. Their timings are actually decent right now for Shanghai as they're doing better ult economy, but unable to secure the kills during that time frame. They lose 2 quickly in this beginning fight. And it seems like Florida's still going to hold on to control, and Shanghai might just drop this first stage.
There's a chance, exactly. If you feel had to drop onto the point to try and buy a little bit of time, you have to contend, but the overtime wick is burning, and it is running out. Be sure to tap it, and there it is, the reset. Zushu dropping back, and it looks like finally Shanghai Dragons, thanks to Undead, thanks to MG, they are going to be able to win a fight here and start gaining some percentage.
Very good for them, as Freefield did give up his life, got resurrected on the point. They're able to take control. That cannot lose a single fight from here on out. It is going to be down to those Valkyries in the next fight, as Altering has his online, Zebo getting close to it, and Shanghai needs to take advantage of their ultimate timings.
The attempt, and there it is, success! Zupe blown to bits to spare parts. And already Manhattan going to get clipped out of the sky as well. Dia having an impact, looking for the follow-up kill on Zupe. Zupe not having a good time when Tracer's riding him like this.
We mentioned that if Shanghai was going to win this series, it's going to be on the very capable back of Dia. He is an all-star, a great DPS player, and right now he put his backpack on and he's trying to bring Ilios back for the Shanghai Dragons.
In Dia's life, every day is leg day. Inside right now. That's what it's all about, but he is ready. He is prepared, and he does have Undead hitting some shots as well. Dia, once again, there to pounce, looking for a target, just making sure that Florida Mayhem can't get too comfortable. They have to worry about him going for the flank on the squishies.
Very sneaky. They should know he is here right now. Should know that he is behind. A Valkyrie is popped preemptively by Zebo's side, so Altering will end up popping his later. This is a good ultimate situation for the Shanghai Dragons. It's time to pop their own Valk to bring Undead back to life. They need to bring MG back as well.
And in the meantime, where is Dia? What is going on? He will be able to get onto the point and challenge, but he has not been able to stop his teammates from getting picked off by the enemy Widowmaker. He is still alive and trying to build that ult charge, but it is taking so long, and thanks to the Valk, thanks to the heals really coming in from Zebasai, he is not able to get a kill. It will be Tavik on cleanup duty, showing that he's quite capable on Tracer as well. And this might be the turning point. The point caps for Florida Mayhem, and the overtime wick is done. First round goes for Florida Mayhem.
Yet again, they had the Valkyrie advantage, unable to capitalize on it for Shanghai. They are so close to winning some of these stages, some of these fights. If you're Shanghai and you're in the situation where you're 0-3, it's time to start building on small positives. One pick, one fight, one stage, one map. You can't look at the big picture right now. You have to micromanage yourself and start building on these positives. They were close to turning that around.
It wasn't far off. And that's where you can see the potential here. That if they can just get a little bit better on the comms, if they can just start coordinating a bit better and playing off of Dia, creating this space, creating this opportunity, we may see the turnaround that we all want for Shanghai. But right now, Florida, they're just too, well, they're on point. That's what's the real key here. Shanghai need to figure out a way to get them off of it.
As good as Dia was playing, Tavik matched him step for step there, especially towards the end on that Tracer.
You got to give it to Logix too.
Yeah.
Really winning out on that Widow duel, which is so key.
Oddly enough, Logix's best heroes have been his 76 and his McCree. He's known as a Tracer main. He's been totally fine on it, but when he really stands out, it's on those other heroes. Early in this fight, both Winston's out of it already.
And the pressure getting forward on Undead has managed to take out Swoosh, so one of the tanks has been floored for Florida Mayhem. But that point is getting capped over here for Florida Mayhem. Shanghai, there it is. We will have Zushu launching himself onto the point, trying to create a bit of an opportunity here for his roster to get in here and challenge this, not let Florida have it for free. Logix, a bit squishy, can't really get into the fight. Point blank, at least, just pecking away at these guys right now with the Peacekeeper. He is staying alive, though, and so long as he is alive, he is a real threat.
Losing Dia hurts them a lot. It means there's only one angle of attack, and it lets Logix just sit back and keep popping through those doorways. It's gone over now. Control in Florida Mayhem. They will clean up the rest of it. Logix. He's got a very, very good McCree.
Just not willing to give them the choice.
See if we see any changes here, but with Shanghai nearing the ultimates, I think they're going to run the same roster. Undead did good early in that fight, was able to take down Tavik. That's why you run a McCree to completely shut down the opponent's Tracer. That's a nice early pick. That is going to get resurrected, but that means they want a resurrection up. Logix creeps around the corner and takes down Dia.
And he's still doing tremendous damage. There is the Deadeye, Altering. He's gone. You pointed it out earlier. Transcendence, it is a powerful heal, but it will not deal with the brute force of the Deadeye. Too much damage dealt too quickly. And so Logix reigns supreme on this map for now.
Zebosai did use his Valkyrie there, which means Shanghai will have the Valkyrie in their pocket. It should be a fight that they win going forward because you have the man advantage if you can keep up on that, but it's going to be Logic's trying to shut down that Valkyrie in the sky.
Keeping eyes for the pick, keeping eyes on it here. We already have one of the Valks getting used. Altering not wasting any time, trying to keep his teammates in this fight. Free Feel and Undead have already fallen, however, and so it's not looking too promising. Undead will get brought back to life, however.
This is never the situation you really want a Valkyrie into. You lose 2, you bring 2 up, you've used your ultimate, and now you're only fighting at even here, but you have to use it. Altering takes matters into his own hands, able to take down Logix himself. Still, though, no pressure on the point from Shanghai.
Very quick play there from Tvik to dodge that self-destruct. You gotta admire that, the quick reactions when he realized the recall wasn't gonna keep him alive. And Tvik on the hunt, he knows, but he will get punished. There it is, Undead with the shutdown. Not letting Tvik have his way, and here is a chance and opportunity for Shanghai Dragons to get this point capped for themselves.
This is a fight they need to win. They got every pick they were looking for to start that one off. The self-destruct will come out on the side just to get a new mech for Bannerton. Dia does punish Zupe. They're getting a little bit of kills back and forth, but Sebo has earned another Valkyrie in this fight. Altering still 20% away. They need to stall it out enough for him to get back into this point.
Yeah, MG not going to be long for this world. Unfortunately for him, he gets snuffed, and the point just ticks right back over for Florida Mayhem. The wick is burning. They're at 99%, and Florida Mayhem will be winning this series 3-0 for the Florida Mayhem over Shanghai Dragons. And while there will be the 4th map, there is the hybrid map. That map matters due to tiebreakers at the end of the season. But it is the team who wins the most maps in an engagement, in a match, that will take the win. And so Florida Mayhem, it looks like they were able to keep it together today. Not looking too excited there. I don't know. You'd think they're a bit backslapping. Hey, we got a W. No, yeah, no. High five? No, not interested.
Shanghai still looking for any positives to build off of going forward. They will have another map to get a 1 on the board at least, and that's what you have to do in this situation. Start building off of the positives.
Exactly right.
The Overwatch League is brought to you by Intel and Omen by HP.
League represents a different direction than esports have taken in the past. A global community of professionals for a truly global league.
Welcome back, everybody, from the break. I absolutely love whoever organizes the scores for Blizzard, for these videos, the hype, the background music. Everything is just so sick about the music with this game. I'm loving it. I'm loving it.
It's great sound design. I am notoriously not a fan of having headphones on, but for this game, it's worth investing in a good set of headphones. You will miss a lot if you don't have them on. I just heard the didgeridoo the other day. I mean, it's definitely worth it. All the subtlety in the sound design is amazing.
The way your eyes lit up, you know, it's like a kid finding an extra candy bar in his pocket or something like that. I mean, it's just fantastic. Heck, I'm glad that I got to see that firsthand. I mean, right now, Shanghai are the ones who are trying to figure out exactly what they need to do, and so we already have a couple of changes being made here to the roster. Do you think that this was the correct play to, you know, get Roshan back? We've mentioned his name a few times now, you know, get Roshan back in, get 5 King in for altering.
Well, there's a phrase that if it ain't broke, don't fix it, but something's broken, so they're just trying anything right now. They got to get in here. 5 King is exclusively a Lucio player. One of the issues that Shanghai has had is that they have mostly Lucio players on support. Altering still trying to find his feet on Mercy. Has been playing pretty decent on it, actually, today. I think his Mercy has improved. They are showing signs of improvement. But, you know, Zushu played a very good tank, but now they want to give Roshan some play. They're just trying stuff, and I admire that they know it's not working. Look, they're not blind to the results that have been on the screen so far, so they're trying things up. It's going to be interesting to see what 5 King plays. 5 King needs to step out of the Lucio role. Lucio's simply not in the meta right now.
That is going to be a bit of a tricky one, especially here on Numbani, which is going to be the last map of this series here between these two teams. Florida Mayhem, however, obviously not going for any roster changes there. Seems like, what do you expect to see out of this roster going into this?
I mean, Florida, they've got a good 76. They've got players who can play Ana, and this is the map to play those two heroes, so that's exactly what we're going to see out of them. For Shanghai, on their offense, one of their difficulties, one of their issues is that they struggle finishing fights even with advantage. And in Numbani especially, I've mentioned that the first point plays a little bit like Assault. You have to have such a good first fight. You have to win it decisively because the respawn advantage for the defense can be brutal. So we'll see if they can have the target calling. I think that might be the one thing missing, is that they're not finishing the heroes who are discorded and low. They need to finish these kills and move on. It's something that I saw in the Chinese region overall, is they struggle to finish fights that they start. And if Shanghai can get that going, they do have a chance to pick up a map.
This is a bit of a crash course for Shanghai. They're running into some of the very best teams in the world. I mean, the likes of Seoul and the European rosters, even North America right now. Obviously, you know, Houston feeling pretty good about themselves right now. Bit of a pat on the back there for Jake and the lads. But you've mentioned this as well, coming into this map. There is a lot of pressure on the offense because their run back, if they die, their run to that point is so long. And so every fight is crucial. You need to come out ahead. You need to keep your boys alive. And well, we'll see if they're going to be capable of it here. Shanghai Dragons going into the last map, hoping to pick up a map win here versus Florida Mayhem. If it comes down to tiebreakers later on in the season, this map could be crucial. It could be the difference maker.
An interesting composition here is they're going to run a McCree and a Pharah on their DPS. That Pharah can have a lot of space. Undead opens it up and takes down Logix. That is the opening kill they need.
And already, Florida Mayhem, their tanks just trying to create some space here, trying to take attention away from the res that was trying to happen, but not going to be the case, and they will not make it happen. And Undead right now just going off.
This is the Undead that I know and love. He has a god-tier McCree. It just happens to be that they haven't put it all together. This is the kind of performance they need out of their DPS heroes. Undead is unstoppable.
Fantastic work from Undead. That's what you need. You talked about this a little bit as well, where you go back, you know, if it isn't working, just get on heroes that you enjoy. Get on heroes that come naturally to you and that you know that you can perform on. And there we have it, Undead, giving us a bit of a master class. Tvix strikes back, finally managing to take the kill on Roshan to start. But you can see Undead is positioning right now. It is on point. They cannot, he is literally on point actually, but I mean, they can't get to him. And so he can just keep plinking shots into him nonstop.
Unfortunate that they lost both of their tanks there, because this is a map where you can get spawn camped very hard. Right out their spawn right now. They're trying to get around this corner. Florida now in a good position on their defense. A creeping Tracer up top with Pulse Bomb is Tvik.
And he's looking for it. Tvik doesn't even need the Pulse Bomb to find the kill on free field. That's a solid start for him. Undead there with the zoning Deadeye though. Just hoping somebody's going to peek out. And no, what? Doesn't even get the D-Mech. Thought for a second there that he would be ruining Madison's day at least.
They had to use their Valkyrie, bring 2 back to life, and counter Valkyrie from Zebo's side will bring Zupe back and Swoosh, so now it is even. See what this barrage can get done, not enough. Dia will get 2 there, but Florida still pretty healthy.
But the key is that Zebasai survives, and so the healing output will still be intact here for Florida Mayhem. They can still continue this fight. Tavik decides to give a little bit of ground here, however, not willing to overextend.
So there's one bend you can fight on there, which they just did. You can also fight right around this bus, and even another bend. Second point in Numbani can be difficult if you lose your momentum at any given point. We'll see if Undead can repeat his performance, which got them first point. They will have a Transcend to work with, and Roshan can start knocking people around. So the economy in pretty decent shape for Shanghai.
Solid work there, coming back and trying to put the pressure on Swoosh, but Swoosh doesn't care. In fact, he's just seeing red, leaping left and right. He will be able to get healed up by his teammates, but that's the whole point for him. He is just supposed to be chaos in the back line, and eventually he will fall. Undead picking up the kill with the help of MG. But that's the whole point for Florida Mayhem. They wanted to just fully commit to that fight and take the fight right next to the bus, as you pointed out.
A couple of nice kills here from Shanghai as they continue to push. They will force out the resurrection on Zube. They bring him back to life because he has Transcend, which he will use immediately onto this point. Dia just waiting it out, trying to find a pulse bomb target.
Florida really committing to this with the support ults. That Transcend is coming through. It's opening up, well, the opportunity here for Logix to find the kill on Dia. Free feel with the D-Mac though, and MG hoping to do the same. Not going to find any frags, however.
5King will get his Valkyrie and immediately popping, even though 3 are down. The best he can do is bring 2 back to life. He does resurrect Roshan into the mix. A counter resurrection, a counter Valkyrie on the other side of things. Later Valks are generally better. Shanghai still trying to bring this back. It is a brawl down there.
Nice peel from Dia, though, with the pulse bomb on Swoosh. Just keeping Undead alive, and then, oh, there it is, a flashbang to stagger Manitin. And yet still, Florida Mayhem persevere. They are in this fight despite Undead's best efforts. Eventually, Undead gets picked off by Logix, and Florida Mayhem emerged victorious in that skirmish.
They're still trying to figure out the mechanics of Mercy and when to actually use her on the side of Shanghai. 5King, the moment he got Valkyrie, he hit it despite 3 people being dead. Even if you can get to them, you're still going to be in an uneven fight. Zebosai got it later, was able to use his Valkyrie in a more impactful time. That's why Florida was able to hold on that defense.
So now, just shy, over 2 minutes left here for Shanghai Dragons to try and push forward to the second payload. Tvik gets caught, has to back off. Recall used, and so that'll quiet him down for a little bit at least.
He might go around the back. He's just waiting for this pulse bomb. That is a dead Winston immediately. He was dead before he even landed. Good focus fire from Florida.
And the pulse bomb even managed to clip a bit there on MG. MG, he is all, he has to go for the ultimate. But in the meantime, Undead and Dia both doing work on the Florida Mayhem backline.
Absolutely huge that he's able to take out Zebo there. That means there's no mercy in this fight. This should be a one fight for Shanghai, barring a miracle play from Tvik. Not gonna find it. And the good thing for Shanghai is they won that off of one shot. The one shot into Zebosai's head, a critical headshot, able to take him down. Now they have their own Valkyrie. These are the windows that Shanghai needs to exploit. They are 40% above on Valkyrie charge. It might be time to just preemptively pop it and go in. However, you don't really need to right now.
Seems like they want to try and play it patient. This is one of the risks that they're running right now of this cart getting stopped in the arch. That's exactly what Florida wants to try and make happen, but doesn't look like it quite yet. Dia presses forward, and he gets the kill. Zebasai is out of the fight. Dia with the big play, and the follow-up. That's what we need here for Shanghai to get this W. Okay, then. Undead is now showing up to the party as well. Florida wiped off the map.
Absolutely huge. There was almost a turning point where 5King went down holding Valkyrie, but they didn't need it. I said if Shanghai was going to show up, it was going to be their DPS, and it's been Dia and Undead on this last point in Numbani.
Through and through. Roshan backing off. Get a little low on HP, giving his supports time to charge up. 5King still has the Falcon as well. That could make the difference. MG is in a bit of a tight spot, though. They're losing players, but they still have time here, Shanghai. And so this is solid from 5King. Not wasting the Valkyrie this time around, realizing that we still have time to maneuver. Just wait for everybody to respawn and go in together as a unit.
Never has no one to hold him and no one to fold him been more applicable than in Overwatch. Sometimes you lost a fight, don't throw good money after bad. Really smart there to hold on to these ultimates. This is a great self-destruct point. We'll see if MG can find the angle.
In the meantime, Zebo and Zupe both have their ults ready to go, and Logix could try and cancel out 5king with that tactical visor. This is all going to come down to timing here. Who decides to crack first? Who's going to use him first? And already Zebasai, he's managed to use his Valk, but 5king has as well. This is it. Undead, the opportunity, and he gets the key kill. Logix is out of the fight, but he immediately gets res. The only issue here, Logix has already used his tactical visor. There is no ult.
Zebo was able to duck behind Logix to stay out of that fray. Meanwhile, 5king has rezzed Roshan onto the point. They need to get a little more kills. A D-Mac and a deletion from MG onto his counterpart as MG continues to push. They are only meters away from completing the map.
This is the real chance. We're going to have any kind of changes coming in here from Florida, trying to stall things out further. You have Tvik dancing on the point. Need to get in there to tap it, though. Tvik, you have to stay alive. You have to keep challenging, because right now Shanghai are the ones getting the kills. But with that spawn so close, it's allowing for Florida to keep the pressure on.
They don't have Valkyrie. They're getting close to it right now. They are at 72%. A non-Valkyrie resurrection on Undead, who is the gatekeeper here. They're so close to finishing this map. It is just Swoosh. Just kill Swoosh. Oh, no!
But just in the nick of time, 5king picks up his Valk. He gets his teammates back into the fight. At least Roshan will be here. You need that kind of player to do the work. Undead as well, staying alive with the Peacekeeper. He's saying hush, and Florida Mayhem, they may be folding. This is a chance here for Shanghai to get this win.
Self-destruct is coming out. Undead finds himself in that destruct. That might just be the bomb they needed to hold this final point. 0.21 meters away. So close, yet so far away.
And the wick, it burns over, and it will be Florida stopping Shanghai in the end. 2 points picked up for Shanghai out of a possible 3. And now is when we're going to switch sides, and Florida will be the ones passing on to the offense. Still, solid work coming in here for Shanghai. This is better than what we've seen so far this series.
A lot of it was just their DPS play. Dia going off on the Tracer. Undead picking it up as well. And even though 5king had a few blunders here and there on his Valkyrie, after that happened, it seemed like he readjusted. There were times where he could have used the Valkyrie in situations where he did early in the map to bring up 2, but they knew when that fight was lost. You're not going to win every fight in Overwatch. You will lose some fights, people will die, but it's about knowing when to risk the ultimates, when you have advantage in pushing it, and it seemed like they had something figured out there.
Oh, remarkable stuff from Undead, and again, you got to point back to it where, okay, you can try and play the meta, you can try and play the rosters, but really sometimes all it's called for is just playing what you're comfortable with. And get that guy on McCree. Just keep him on McCree. He can be your specialist, because whenever he does seem to show up on McCree, he's just having such an impact.
I want to give MG a ton of credit too. We always look at these self-destructs as the big diva plays, but I like those small diva plays where the Mercy's healing someone and you don't go for the target that the Mercy's healing. You just bypass them with the boost. You take down the Mercy in the backline. He got Zebo a couple times there towards the end, really opened things up for his team. So he's been an unsung hero on this roster, playing on the off-tank role. He had a really good game. Shanghai is definitely showing some signs of life. Win condition, they just have to stop him at any given point.
That's what's the name of the game. And well, Numbani, we have seen it. On the defense teams, they can get that lockdown going on this first point, and that could be what stops Florida cold. Dia will be playing the Junkrat as well, looking to take advantage of the choke points leading on to this point. You just chuck those grenades in, chuck those mines in, you get a clever spot for the trap, and all of a sudden, Florida Mayhem could be down a member or even 2. So for Florida, Tvik going for the Soldier, but Logic's on the Widow. So 2 heavy-hitting heroes here.
Yeah, we'll see. They've got the distance, but I still like what Shanghai is doing here. It's not a McCree map necessarily, but Undead is his best hero. He's like, I'm running McCree. I clearly were better when I just run McCree, so meta be damned. He's playing his best hero. Roshan down very early, though. That hurts.
That really is painful. It didn't look like any of his healers were there to support him whatsoever. He was just desperate to get out. And now Florida Mayhem with an advantage, and they are already close to picking up a tick on this map. Can they get the contest in? No, Florida actually giving it up. Get back on the point, Florida.
Undead takes Zupe down, but there's an instant resurrection, so he is brought back to life. Florida is still just trying to get kills, not necessarily pressuring the point. Now they will touch their toes into the water.
Yeah, they need to stay on it. 2 ticks gained. Undead finally wins the duel versus Tvik. And that is solid. Logic's looking for an angle to try and find a shot. What a shot! The flick and the kill, and he's looking for the follow-up as well. If he can start landing some damage here on the back line, this could be big. Dia right on the edge, and Logic's not quite able to connect.
Someone's got to stay on the point, though. Even while you're pressuring out this Widow, it's great that you're making all this space, but meanwhile, there is still a tank going on the point as Swoosh picks up several kills on his own. No one's going to be there. They will capture first point.
Shanghai not able to stop it, even with forcing the DPS back for the Florida Mayhem. And so we will have the changes coming through here for Florida now that they're starting to progress into the streets portion of this map. Logix, Tvik, both swapping. So we will have that McCree on McCree fight.
The worst part about that fight for Shanghai is they didn't force out any ultimates. You've got Zebo and Zupe both holding on to the huge, impactful support ultimates, and they're pushing so far forward right now. Will even be able to resurrect this should they so need it.
So he is going to be out of that fight, Swoosh. But he is Winston. He can get back into it as well fairly quickly thanks to the jump pack. And so Logix decides to back off. Remember, guys, don't get too frag hungry. There is a payload that you need to push. Free Feel, however, got to be a volley. Has taken out Tvik.
That's very nice. The reason they push so far forward is Florida is they don't want to get spawn camped on Numbani. They want to get around the bend at least so that they have room to breathe. Now Shanghai's started to win the fight. They're going to transcend and take the fight to Florida.
Yeah, we do see the resurrect. I mean, not the resurrect, but Tvik has respawned. He'll be getting here momentarily, and so that is going to be a little bit of additional pressure here for MG. He is getting nailed. There's the self-destruct, though. Logic's able to get around the corner, and MG this time will not get anything out of his ultimate apart from a new mech, and that wasn't for long either. Now it's Logic's turn, and he drops him. MG is out. And Roshan as well.
Dueling Valkyries, but it is so far Florida getting the better of it. Five King, though, saves his reses for later. Now they have some people up and alive. Logic's being pressured by Winston in the back line. A nice couple taps there. Logix continues to clean up.
You can really see that Logix is starting to come into his own. No pressure on his pack. He's just hitting shot after shot, just straight styling right now. And there it is. Logix, hello. Goodbye. How they are on the edge.
We questioned his poise. Is there a better demonstration of poise than a Primal Rage Winston knocking you about? You ignore him and just single tap a Junkrat outside the door. Logix is definitely stepping up to the plate. Seems like land jitters are gone.
And well, for Shanghai now, this is it. 4.5 minutes. That's how long they have to hold and stop Florida Mayhem from pushing right up to the third point. And already Logic's clever angle here, able to just put some shots through, keeping that pressure on. Shield not going to last too long there for the Winston. And well, there it is, another headshot. When you hear that sound, man, if you're Shanghai Dragons, your heart sinks.
Oh, nice play from Dia, though. Will take down Tvik in the Tracer versus Tracer duel. That will mean a reset from Florida here. This is going to come down to Valkyries yet again. Valkyries and Deadeyes. Deadeye is one of the best ultimates to be able to take down a Flying Mercy, to be able to cut the wings of the moth, as it were. We'll see who can figure it out the best.
Oh, here's the engage. They decided it's time to go. Shanghai just putting it on. And already diving deep, trying to create the space, and they've already used one of their transcendences. This seems to be a bit of a theme here for Shanghai Dragons. Now it's about outlasting it. Undead is gone, but Five King has got his Valk. Still, Five King, there it is, the res on MG. Get that high value target back up into the fight, but no, Zupe is there to get the kill, so the res was for nothing.
They use a self-destruct to try to res it back. That is there's the finish from Logix as it takes him too, but it's just fine. Dia now out of this fight. Swoosh opening things up in the back line, and they continue to push 60 meters there, and there's no one out here to contest. Get on the carts.
Oh, just in the nick of time, Dia is there to save it. That gives MG a chance to get into the fight. Roshan as well. He's got the Primal Rage. Point blank fan the hammer, though. Logic's pouring on the damage. Roshan's in a bit of a tight spot. And here's the Deadeye. 2 kills for Logix. This is where it gets out of control. Five King. He will get the res on Undead, trying to keep him in the fight. And yet there's the self-destruct. MG just crouching, but that's going to open. What? Tvik gets caught by MG. Still, it is going to be Florida Mayhem. In the end, picking up the third point and a 4-0 victory over Shanghai.
We talked so much about Shanghai having to win this. Let's take a look at the boys in Florida. They needed this win just as bad. Not only is it a victory, it is a statement victory at 4-0. Logix played well. Tvik is old consistent, as we always expect from him. Florida will put their first win in the Overwatch League on the board. I think, though, even if you're a fan of Shanghai, you saw some improvement today, and that's all you can really ask for. I think they need to start playing more double hit scan. Forget the meta, play your McCree. Undy's got a great McCree. Diaz getting used to Tracer. I think the most important thing is we saw a lot of improvement from their Mercy play, and right now you have to have a good Mercy to win in the Overwatch League.
Exactly right. Somebody get Swoosh his teriyaki jerky. He deserved it today. They go home with a win here, Mayhem. That is big for them, bit of a confidence boost. But you're right, it was a pleasure to watch Shanghai because you do start to see a bit of the pieces of the puzzle start to come together there for them, getting a bit tighter on the comms, getting a bit better at the ult management. And so that will be it for this series. We still have one more coming up after the break.
The Overwatch League is brought to you by Omen by HP and by Intel.
Welcome back. This is Zoe, and I'm now joined by Swoosh. Give it up for the Florida Mayhem. Finally getting their first victory on this very stage. Now I gotta ask, despite having a slow start, your team seems to always take to the stage with a, you know, spring in your step and a swag in your hips. How do you stay so positive?
I mean, you just gotta have to, right? If you stay positive, everything is possible. Just keep going. Just bring the fun to the stage and bring the fun to the game, and just look forward all the time. And if you just get depressed, it's not gonna help. Just keep it fun, keep it lighthearted, and it's all good.
Right, life lessons by Swoosh, everyone. Please give it up once more. And I'll take a page out of that book. And it is fun to see you guys going onto that stage, honestly. I can't wait to see what you guys have in store for us next week. Now, looking at next week and your preparation going into week 3, how much time will you guys be spending on scrims? How much time will be spent on VOD reviews? And how much time are you actually going to spend on walking choreographies?
Walking choreographies, I think that's something we just come up with on the fly. But VODs and scrims is we always go equally as long time. It doesn't matter what game it is or what match it is. We try to keep it consistent, and we just try to improve every single time. We're just gonna keep the same schedule and keep going hard and prepare for our next game.
All right. Now, of course, one last question. How do you feel about your opponents next week? Outlaws?
Oh yeah, that's true. I mean, it's gonna be a good game for sure.
You nailed it! You nailed it! Thank you so much, Swoosh. Sorry for putting you on the spot. Can't wait to see you guys again next week. Thank you so much. Once more, congratulations. We're now gonna break down the game on our wonderful desk.
Thank you so much, Sully. Thank you so much, Swoosh. It looked like we had Tracer standing next to Winston in human form. That was fantastic up there on the stage. Let's break down the action here at the desk. I'm Puckett. This is Reinforce, that Sideshow, and we got a lot to get through, so let's start here with our control map. Sideshow, coming into this one, we actually had our master electrician come up to me. It's Ben, and he said, why are both teams running the same heroes on both stages of this map? Can you kind of break that down for some of the newer fans at home?
Well, Ilios is kind of a unique map in that Widowmaker has a huge amount of sightlines for this stage on Ruins, and Tracer is very good at being able to win the ground war with the other 5 players once the room is given by a Widowmaker pick occasionally. So we do see more stuff like the Pharahs coming out from some teams, and there is opportunity to switch it up, but both of these two teams in general are very good at the double hit scan kind of approach.
Yeah, I mean, we talk about Tracer not being as relevant this meta. You don't see that the Tracers get as many picks, but still the damage output overall, I mean, if you hit up a D.Va or a Winston, the damage output is just too much to negate. So you still need a Tracer in this meta, despite not getting as many game-winning picks this meta.
The Tracer switched out to a McCree for the second stage there, and even though they were running identical comps, it was Florida walking away with the victory. What was the biggest difference in their gameplay?
Well, it was Logix, of course. He started to pop off on the stage, and as we mentioned before, Logix hasn't really been in the zone when he's been playing on a stage before. You know, maybe a bit nervous on the stage, of course. But now, finally, after a couple of weeks on the Overwatch League, he started to pop off and bring his game. And that's what the Florida Mayhem has thrived on before.
You need Logix to go off if you're the Florida Mayhem, and he continued to pop off in our 4th game of Numbani. But we also saw a strong resurgence from the Shanghai Dragon squad. This may be the best attack we have seen from them. And Sideshow, as we take a look at some of these highlights, who were the players really standing out for the squad?
There were definitely 2 big players, I thought. That MG had a much improved performance over what we saw from him in previous games for Shanghai Dragons. And this tank synergy was massively improved. That gave so much more room for Undead to come out with his stellar McCree play. And so this is the kind of synergy that we want to see from the Shanghai Dragons moving forwards. I think this was easily the best map that they've played so far this season. They look like they have structure. They look like they know what they want to do on certain pushes. I was impressed by them.
Yes, and as I said in halftime, right? If you're Shanghai Dragons, you need to find your niche, what you feel comfortable playing. And with Undead on the McCree, it certainly felt like he was a lot more comfortable, and MG managed to peel well with the defense matrix. So this is something they can build off and maybe snatch a win in the future.
And we did want to follow up on these improvements we're seeing from the Shanghai Dragons with the quick illustration. This is Sideshow breaking down their attack.
Yeah, I've got a replay here, and I'll start it pausing the minimap point of view. And the first thing to note is Dia. He's got a rocket sent towards these lovely 3 guys over on the Florida Mayhem, and it is about to do huge damage. So this sets up the play, the fact that they're running McCree, Pharah, as you were saying, Reinforced, playing their niche. And so as we start to roll this forward, you can see that does huge damage, knocks both the supports off, and Undead is able to get the pick here over onto Logix. I'm going to pause once again and show what happens with the tanks here, because now that they've got the pick on Logix, they can start to move up around this left-hand side, and you'll see that, in fact, for the Florida Mayhem, Tvik is going to try and save this with a combined dive onto Freefeel here. Freefeel is their target to try and recover this fight. And as we play this forwards, you'll see that MG has an excellent read of the situation and reacts accordingly. So as we play this one forwards, you'll see Freefield start to back off, and Tvik and Swoosh feel like they have a bit of an opportunity to sandwich him. Swoosh goes for the dive. Instantly, MG reacts. They peel really well for their backline here. Freefield stays alive. MG is able to... Oh, well, it's actually Undead that gets the pick, but with combined damage from everybody, they get the pick onto Manitin, who is trying to help out in that dive. This is textbook play of how you want to run these kind of setups on Numbani, where as soon as somebody dives into you, instantly your team is there to support them. And I did a telestrator yesterday when we watched, or 2 days ago when we watched the Shanghai Dragons, and there was none of this synergy. So already we can see these kind of improvements, particularly from MG here.
And also Roshan helping out on the Winston, of course. We saw them swap in Roshan, and he kept diving pretty deep. But occasionally you saw him peel with MG on the Diva, of course, and that's what you need. You need the coordination. So I think this peeling strategy will work out much better for the Shanghai Dragons.
Shanghai is slowly improving, but the team that walks away with the win is our Florida Mayhem. And of course, that's a player from our team that we chose our player of the match from. This, of course, is sponsored by Omen by HP. We had to go with Logix here, and it all started with this pulse bomb that caught our eyes.
It's just so magical, isn't it? Look at that. Fantastic play from Logix. But all throughout this match, honestly, the guy had a stellar performance. Coming up with this Tracer performance that we have only just started to see from Logix, but it's what he's known for. And he's also been playing a plethora of heroes like Widowmaker and fantastic McCree at the end. Yeah. This was his match.
Okay, so we talked about Undead popping off on the McCree on Numbani. But look at this stat. Okay, so Undead had 11,000 damage on Numbani on the McCree per 10 minutes. Logix had 19,000, almost double the damage of Undead, almost 2,000 damage per minute. So, I mean, Logix, he just popped off in the end, and this is what you need.
And talking to our stats wizard, Captain Planet is in the control room. He was saying that you saw a fantastic performance from Logix, specifically on the McCree. 21 final blows was double, with half the time played on the same hero as Undead. So fantastic performance from Logix. He is our player of the match, sponsored by Omen by HP. And that is the first big win for the Florida Mayhem. We're down with our first two matches, but we saved the big one for last. After the break, we're closing out the night with a bang. It's the unbeaten London Spitfire taking on the Dallas Fuel. We'll see you in a moment.
The Overwatch League is brought to you by Omen by HP and by Intel.
Here we go. That was just really well done by Dallas Fuel. Might be able to win this fight. Let's see if they can do it. XQC jumping in, doing damage. That was a masterclass from the Spitfire. Looks like Dallas is going to hold for just a bit longer. And that will be it. Dallas Fuel.
That's going to hurt in the morning, though.
Welcome back, everyone. We are live from the Blizzard Arena in LA, and it is time for the final match of the day. How's everyone feeling out there? You guys having fun so far? That's what I love to see. I'll be honest, yesterday's crowd was a little bit louder, but I have a feeling you guys are about to wake up here in the venue. Real quickly, let's reintroduce our analyst desk. We've got Reinforced Sideshow and our insider, Zoe, joining us once again. Zoe, what do you think about Florida's big win?
Oh, you know, I'm just so happy for them. They kept this positive outlook. They kept the positive spirit going into every match. And this week, they just showed so much improvement. Against Seoul already, I really think they made it competitive. And now against the Shanghai, they really stepped it up. But also Shanghai, I did love that we saw so much more coming out of them. And that really gives me hope for future matches.
Sideshow, for anyone who's just joining the show, what vibes do they need to watch at the end of the day?
Oh, at the end of today, I mean, the first game that we had was a cracker as well. I would go back and rewatch that. A pretty close game, even though the scoreline might not suggest it. It was a good game to start the day off. But for Shanghai and Mayhem as well, that last game of Numbani was pretty good. I think, especially for the Shanghai guys, they'll want to go back and watch that, tweak a few things, and they'll be a dangerous team.
Johnny, I got to close it out with you. We've already highlighted 2 players of our match sponsored by Omen by HP, but I got to get it from you. Most impressive player that has walked into the building so far.
Oh, well, it has to be Logix, right? He just stepped up when he needed to, and he got all the Tracer pulls from. He stepped up on Widowmaker, on Dorado, and Ilios, of course. I'm just really happy to finally see Logix pop up, and maybe they can carry the momentum in the Florida Mayhem squad.
I'm telling Fleta and Miro, you said it was Logix here on day 3, week 2.
I mean, we gotta be fair here. Did Fleta nail in-air Farah pulse bomb? I don't think he did. So style points definitely go to Logix here.
But you also said walk into the arena, and I don't think that Logix actually walked. He kind of rode, galloped, whatever you would call that. Had a spring in his step. So
we're going to buy a little bit of time here for our teams that are still setting up on the main stage. So far here in week 2, what has been your biggest surprise, Reinforce?
Oh, my biggest surprise. Oh, and now you're putting me on the spot.
Always, right? Johnny on the spot. That's what I do to you.
Logix turned up again.
Wow, nailed it.
The biggest surprise for me, actually, has been the Dallas Fuel, because they've been such a good team for so long. Their underperformance yesterday when they played against the Houston Outlaws, and Houston Outlaws themselves playing so well, I thought that was a fantastic game that actually has big repercussions for how the top of the Western teams end up going towards the playoffs for Stage 1, and how Dallas Fuel bounced back.
Yes, but also Houston Outlaws. We didn't expect Houston to perform at all going up against Dallas, but then Jake took to the Genji, and they suddenly could start playing dive composition. So Houston Outlaws are surprising their own.
Let's talk a little bit about Dallas here, Zoe, because Houston walked away with the 4-0. We're about to see Dallas return for the second time this week. They're starting 0-3. What issues did they have in their match last night?
I think most people would agree that one of the main complications we saw from the team, and I think everyone at home also kind of mentioned that somewhere in the internet, was communication. I think their shot calling kind of fell flat in a lot of moments. I do think that the general communication and the way the team worked together, it just didn't feel like the Dallas Fuel we know. It wasn't the Dallas Fuel we saw in the preseason. It wasn't the former Team Envy either. It was just
Yeah, they seemed off, for sure.
Yeah, very off.
They've been experimenting with different additions to the team, and the way that they're able to integrate these new players is going to have big ramifications for Dallas moving forwards. So I think that's players sneaking up on the stage as well behind us.
Look at this gorgeous Reinhardt we got here.
Tony ults. I know that feel.
I love it. I love it. Johnny, can you explain this for any of our new fans?
Zoning ults?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's basically when you earth shatter our shield to scare off the enemy.
Guys, I have to give you props. We filled enough time to get to our match schedule. You guys ready to get caught up? It's time to get into the action. Here's how we started the day. It was Seoul Dynasty starting off with a 3-0 record. Well, they 4-0'd Boston Uprising and now are sitting up top of our leaderboard at a perfect 4-0. The Shanghai Dragons showed some improvement in their match against the Florida Mayhem, but it's the Mayhem walking away with their first victory of the regular season. And now we got the big battle. It's the fight between the London Spitfire and the Dallas Fuel, and I'm told our teams are getting ready to walk out. So ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together and welcome to the stage. It's the London Spitfire. These players have been so impressive, starting back at preseason, but improving to today. They currently are sitting at 2-0, undefeated after picking up wins over Florida and Philadelphia.
Yeah, this could be the best Korean team. On paper, they look fantastic. They have so much depth to pull from for this roster, and they're trying to combine the two together. Now, so far, they've looked a little bit shaky to me in terms of their team play and their synergy, but they have so much individual talent that they have ripped through teams that they're playing against purely on that.
Yes, as the season progresses, I think London Spitfires will just continue to improve. Obviously, they had two teams come together at the start of the season, and now they're finally integrating Profit and Birding together, two of the best DPS players in the world. So this team is going to be so exciting to watch.
I mean, honestly, I have to say, if you're asking me which is the best Korean team, I think you currently can make a case for any of the Korean teams. However, I do feel like I'd need to wait to see them facing off against each other to really have an educated opinion on this topic.
I think that's a smart move, so wait for the head-to-head. But let's break down this starting lineup because this is a ferocious squad. You got Gesture working alongside Fury on the tank roles. Bedozin is going to be working with Nuss to heal. And then, of course, we got Prophet and Birdring, the DPS duo that everyone in the Overwatch League respects and also fears. Let's go into their opponent, though, as we welcome back for the second time this week. It's the Dallas Fuel. Good to see Harry Hook leading the charge as they come out of the tunnel. Right behind him is going to be Chips. Today, we're going to see the old school lineup here from our Dallas Fuel squad. And Reinforce, I felt like it's time for a change because this team is coming in at 0-3 after mixing up the lineup so many different times.
Yeah, they had trouble integrating their substitute players, of course, so now it's back to basics. And I'm so happy to see this. They had so much success in the past. Obviously, you have Effect now on the DPS role. Always consistent performer. And now you have Taimu in the squad as well, who is the X factor, who can pop off on McCree and Widowmaker. We saw the McCree play yesterday on Eichenwalde, so I'm looking out for the squad to finally turn up today and get their first win.
Yeah, I mean, their first match in the Overwatch League was incredible competitive against one of the favorites, Seoul Dynasty. They did win a map, they drew one, and they definitely have what it takes to go head-to-head against the best teams here.
Now, Sideshow, we do see Taimu back in the lineup. He's great on McCree. He's fantastic on the Hog. What do you want to see him playing today? Now see him back alongside Effect.
Yeah, I mean, the reason that they have Taimu back in the lineup is that he is the X factor for this team, I think. At any point, this guy makes risky plays, but he has such great aim, great hook accuracy with his Roadhog that he can go off and be a huge contributing factor to them winning team fights that otherwise they wouldn't be able to secure. So we didn't see him for the majority of their games yesterday. Today he'll be looking to have a big impact.
Johnny, we've seen so many different roster swaps from both of these squads. Let's talk about the success or some of the issues we've run into, starting with Dallas. When you're not running the core six that are in the starting lineup for at least game one, what were some of the glaring problems that you've seen?
Well, we brought it up before. Communication has been a deep issue. Integrating Kusta, who is from Australia and likes to talk a lot and communicate. Then you have Chips Hyen, who's another Effect support for the squad, but he is not so talkative at all. So finally, going back to basics, I think the communication will be a lot more calmer, and maybe Effect will be able to sync more with Coco and get those dives in.
We've seen issues on the Dallas side of things, but London's also mixing up the lineups quite a bit. So in the preseason, they stuck to one lineup or the other. Now in the regular season, they've constantly been mixing things.
Yeah, I was actually really surprised. We had a lot of discussions here on the desk thinking, do they really want to mix those rosters, or like how are they going to go out about that? And in week number one, they already showed that they're mixing and matching the support duos, the DPS and the tanks. So we saw a lot of varieties coming out of London Spitfire. And you know what? It's been working out great for them. It looked like there was a lot of synergy, and to me personally, it did not look like they had to like mash two teams together.
Yeah, now the interesting thing actually for Dallas Fuel as well is looking at this big picture, the subs that they have do kind of make sense. They fix a lot of the holes in this team. They have an aggressive Winston and XQC. They have Kusta, who can fill a lot of the support roles, and they have Seagull, who can fill the Genji and Pharah, but it's going to take time for Kai, I think, their head coach, to be able to integrate these guys in. So for now, when they need a bit of momentum in the season, when they need to start feeling better about themselves and get back up to that form, I think starting back to basics, as you were saying, Reinforce, is the best move.
Yes, and also build from a core. We've seen Seoul Dynasty successfully integrate so many players into their squad, but Dallas Fuel, they've been substituting too many players at once. Seoul Dynasty has always stuck to 4 players, and Dallas Fuel maybe has to stick to a core 4 and build from that as well.
Enough on the roster depth. Let's talk about these starting lineups and talk about our players to watch. I want to start with you, Reinforce. When you look at the London Spitfire, you're the Dallas Fuel. Who are you scared of most?
I'm scared of Birdring here, because Birdring can turn up on the Widowmaker. And if you're Dallas Fuel, I really think that you will be able to handle the dives coming in from the Genji and Tracer if you put Taimu on the Roadhog or the Junkrat. So Birdring really here has to show up on the Widowmaker and maybe do a lot of damage from afar. He has a great Roadhog himself, but the Widowmaker and the McCree and Soldier is what I'm looking out for.
Sideshow, who is the biggest threat playing for Dallas Fuel that could stop London from going up to 3-0 on the leaderboard?
For me, I think it's got to be Taimu. Even though Effect has had such great performances in the past and has previously been a carry player, if Taimu returns to his height, he had a poor performance in their previous match against the Outlaws, and he came out with this tweet. And this is the kind of stuff that we need to see from him, this fire, this drive and determination to become a star player for this team.
You know, this is such a raw tweet, but I love the end. But I will get it back. I will force it if I have to in order to win. Taimu's going to try and get Dallas Fuel a big win, but this is going to be a tough series. It's time to get into the action. We got our casters ready. Let's send it backstage to Monty and Doa.
That's right, guys. We are back here, and we are psyched. Dallas Fuel versus London Spitfire. It's been a rough week for Dallas so far, but this is a great opportunity for them to kind of bring it back and close out strong.
It hasn't only been a rough week, though. It's been a rough Overwatch league. Even in these early stages, I don't think anybody would have reasonably predicted them to go 0-3, especially when they came out so strong against Seoul, taking a map, nearly winning that series. But it's been a bit downhill from there, and I have to say, like the desk, I am happy to see a return to a more standard lineup on Junkertown, because this is the map they beat Seoul on.
Yeah.
And they also went 8-7 on Junkertown against the Valiant, and when they debuted a different roster against the Outlaws, they couldn't even take the first point.
Sure enough, and I mean, that's what it really comes down to at Dallas, it seems like right now. It's kind of this experimentation that's being done with the roster, with the compositions they want to use. We've talked about it on Watchpoint earlier, where they kind of struggle compositionally and that they don't play a lot of the standard dive we've seen before. So they're trying to get a lot of things ironed out right now, so you got to expect some losses.
Absolutely, and I think it has been a problem that they have lacked, like you're saying, the standard dive or something that can be reliably played on all maps instead of their very creative strategies.
Right.
And without that to fall back on, but they are working on that. It's been very clear. They played it in their last match against Houston on Horizon. It's not there yet for them,
but it needs to be. And we see the coach as well, Kai, tweeting consistently about, hey, we need to really improve this, and it's going to take some time to work out the kinks in our system.
Very true. We are getting things set up here on Junkertown. It's going to be London Spitfire on the attack, Dallas Fuel on the defense. Looks like they may be going with a little bit of triple tank here.
Well, we'll see. Right now, looks like Taimu on the Roadhog. So yes, triple tank with the Widowmaker. So no quad tank. We have seen that strategy in the house on the forward right-hand side of your screen. That's actually something that London has done on this map as well. And we've seen weird strategies from the Spitfire, including having a Reaper on Prophet on attack, and it looks like they're going to do that again. So same strat that we've seen from London on attack.
It's worked really well in the past for them. They're going to have it again. They're going to have the nano boost from Medosin onto Prophet's Reaper later on. Here comes the push. No, there's the swap. Medosin changing up back to the Anos. Interesting.
All right, so Bird Ring moves over to the Widowmaker right now. This is the same
strategy they used in their last attempt here on Junkertown, and the idea is if they're playing this many tanks, you have a chance to walk up onto the enemy team with the Reaper and make a play. Prophet is behind them right now. He's waiting for his team to engage.
Look out, man. Prophet coming in, gets Harry Hook, fades out, man, and that is scary already. The res comes in, but that's the res down now for Dallas Fuel. An opportunity for London to press forward.
Bird Ring is now jumping out of spawn again, so opportunity here for London to push forward. They go ahead and use the Resurrection on a Gesture, and Prophet is support hunting.
Oh, he's coming back again. Takes on Harry Hook one more time. Nuss on the other side did use that Valkyrie, but Prophet doing most of the work there. Oh, there's the final blow onto Effect, and that payload will get most of the way through point A.
Now, you don't even need to use the Reaper on the tank line if Prophet is waiting until Dallas Fuel commits, and then running in to pick off those supports. Harry Hook, no way to really get away from a Reaper at that close range.
Oh, it's a tough situation for Dallas to be in, because obviously Reaper is great against this many tanks, and how do you protect the backline from the Reaper and also handle what's coming at you in the front with these three tanks?
Yeah, they are going to be coming back though, Doe. Actually, interestingly, they fell off the payload there for a second, so it stopped temporarily. This may give Dallas a chance here.
It is odd. Looks like they're just gonna let it finish. Okay, so Dallas deciding to just allow that one. I don't know. Effect's behind him. This is really
very far behind them right now, and he's going to die. So he actually tried for a flank behind the payload. That looked like a miscommunication from Dallas as to whether they were going to engage that or not, because instead Effect just gets massively staggered.
That's right. Sleep Dart does connect. I believe it was Chips here, but that's going to make it a bit awkward for Dallas. Dosen hopping over the wall.
He's waiting for this nano boost, looking from behind. He wants to get a sleep dart. He's been hiding back there. He's going to actually use the bio grenade.
I didn't connect with the bio grenade, though. Yeah, so no easy kill. There's a nano boost, though, used. Gesture already taken down, but Prophet, if he can get a lot with this boosted Reaper, maybe they can keep pushing, but no, it looks like that nano boost is not really going to come to a whole lot. Nuss taken down after he reses Dosen.
Change.
Yep, I think so. Effect with a couple sniper kills, and yeah, now it's time to swap the comp up a little bit. Looks like they're going to go for a bit more dive, unsurprisingly.
We'll see if Prophet actually makes this change. Didn't have a chance to use the Death Blossom. He seems to think he's going to have a good opportunity. No. Yeah, give it up. I think that's the best call right now. You need to be able to attack this high ground, which isn't feasible. Reaper just sort of has to walk directly up onto it. You didn't see them get that opportunity. Nice headshots from Effect to end that engagement and force a change here from the Spitfire.
Dallas has a lot of ults to use too as Taimu comes in. Ooh, can he get a hook? No, couldn't get him during the res. It was a close call. Dallas having to fall back. There is the whole hog now. Trying to take down Gesture. He does succeed in that. Scattering them off of the payload. Can he get the hook? No, another hook. Not connecting. The Winston is back. And Taimu finds himself kind of between everybody right now. Getting a bit low, has to take a breather. Meanwhile, Harry Hook won the Zen v Zen. That payload's still moving, but stalled out for a moment now.
Yeah, Effect in the back line. Still looking to find some kills. We'll get one onto Gesture, but Coco will fall to Prophet in the front line, and now Prophet taking care of some of these supports.
Yeah, that's right. Taimu in a lot of trouble as well. And there goes Mickey. They're going to stagger him a little bit. Not too much, actually, but either way, they win the fight, and that's going to be most of point B. Dallas will see if they decide to go for a late point B defense here.
I think it's going to be pretty tough for them. They have to walk into Prophet, who has the Dragon Blade, and
yeah, it'll be hard to get there.
Harry Hook is found out on the upper floor, will cause a res to be used.
Yep. All right. Taimu caught off guard. Another hook not connecting. Might have been reflected there. Oh, that works though. Gets him. Stayed a little bit too close. No kills from the pulse bomb of Bird Ring. Tries to get behind Mickey here. Coco, rather. There's the Dragon Blade for Prophet. Oh, Chips taken down. Couple kills for Prophet already during the ultimate. And London Spitfire winning this fight pretty handily.
Yeah, and Harry Hook used his Transcendence to get on top of the card. So all Prophet had to do was get resurrected and wait it out before he went ahead and triggered his Dragon Blade. So that'll be point B completed with 3 minutes remaining.
Yeah. So Dallas not really able to slow down London too much yet here on Junkertown. It's an attack-focused map, so that's kind of what we expect to see from time to time. Oh, Harry Hook in a lot of trouble. Kind of on his own, was away from the shields, away from the rest of the team. Easy pickings for Gesture, and now Gesture manages to somehow separate Harry Hook from the team. For the moment, gets back down there. Can he find any more kills? Either way, he's getting Dallas out of that entrenched position, and that payload is still moving in the meantime.
Yeah, couldn't push anybody into the waiting arms of his teammates, though. And Dallas Fuel, they've just been on this triple tank composition for the entirety of the map so far. Only thing that's really changed is, in fact, moving over to that Tracer.
Harry finds another good ult fire onto Bird Ring. Good shot there. Mickey D-Mech, though. That's a diva out of the way. London may be able to utilize that to push forward. Effect trying to find the kill on Bidosin. Gets low. Heals coming in just in time.
Dosen coming all the way back around the other side. He's there with Bird Ring.
Oh,
and they've got him in a pincer right now.
Wow. Well, there goes Taimu. And man, it doesn't take a Prophet to tell you how this fight is going to end.
That was actually very well played by the Spitfire. So what Bidosin and Bird Ring did was they went underneath and across the point, and they were intercepting people coming back to the payload from the fuel. Meanwhile, London still outnumbering people, and having the Dragon Blade active led to a cleanup and the stagger kills from the incoming players.
Yeah, so Dallas has the Transcendence here. Gonna need to use it at just the right time. Fury getting in the backline zone. Mickey down already. Mickey gets the kill to Bidosin while he's out of the mech at least. And they're gonna push London back for the moment.
No way you're really going to be able to contest this right now. You just saw the Transcendence go down.
Yeah.
So it's going to be about...
Fight it out. Taimu's had enough.
It's going to be about the next push with such little time remaining.
Yeah. Dallas with a real opportunity here to prevent London from finishing the map. In fact, if he gets a good pulse bomb, that could end it.
I mean, that's what he needs, but unfortunately, Bedosin with the Transcendence is going to make finding that pick difficult because he has to hit one of the lower HP characters so it's not instantly brought back up in health.
Oh, Coco dying early. Caught out just a little bit.
He got Nuts.
He had to get up that high ground. Yeah, the kill on Nuts does help quite a bit. Bird ring, looking, lurking. Dancing around the payload, Mickey D-Mech, Taimu taken down by Prophet. The DPS duel, one on the London side. And there goes Mickey. So Dallas slowly losing people. And yeah, the respawns are close, but you need to get something on your end. No kills for Birdring's Pulse Bomb at least, but Chips does fall anyway. Coco goes down, and Dallas going to be bottled up in their spawn. Can they even get back to the payload? Just barely. Oh, and Mickey can't get there. So that will be the map completed with 6.4 seconds remaining. So Dallas nearly pushed them to overtime, but just weren't quite able to do it.
Yeah, and that last push was going to be so difficult for Dallas to hold. They were very far behind when it came to charged ultimates available and didn't have an answer to a Valkyrie or Transcendence, really. But they maximized the amount of time they could have had, and we've seen Dallas push through this map quite quickly on previous attempts.
Yeah.
So we'll see if they change things up. So previously for Dallas, on attack, we were expecting to see Harry Hook himself, a very good hit scan player, despite normally playing a support position. Taimu on the Roadhog, and then they were running Seagull on the Hanzo. However, since both Coco and Mickey are in this next match, we may just see that triple tank look one more time.
Certainly could. Kind of checking out what the players are playing around with here. And the character select, and it looks like for now it may be that triple tank, although Mickey, I don't think he's going to stay on the Sombra. That'd be pretty surprising.
Yeah, I don't think Harry Hook's the one who's going to be playing the Junkrat either.
Yeah, I don't think so either.
Let's take a look at what has been selected for London. So when they've defended, on the last time they played Junkertown, they did go for a quad tank composition that speed boosted from the right-hand side onto the cart and just overwhelmed the opposition. They're taking a more tempered approach this time, Prophet. On the Junkrat, this is a more standard composition where you're attempting to play back with the Orisa shield and break the barriers on the payload and try and get to that bastion by using the Junkrat grenades.
That's the plan. See if they can pull it off here as Dallas Fuel gets started with their attack round. A lot of room to set a good time. And here we go. The payload is moving. Coco getting in position here. Harry Hook advancing safely to the cart. They gotta get him there as safely as possible. Shield broken. Taimu, tried to use the Hulk to land a hookup on the high ground. That was clever, but
yeah, that's what they're looking to do. Break the shield, immediately use the halt, and then pick off somebody from the side of London Spitfire. But
he knows there is a Junkrat back here.
Yeah, that's why you see London falling back as soon as that shield is broken, trying to get away as fast as they can, so they're not actually affected by the halt, put in a dangerous position.
Well, Taimu's playing this one so carefully. Ooh, that's another hook that I thought was going to connect, but just didn't get far enough.
Well, you really do have to play this one safely, especially while Effect is down.
Well, that's dangerous. Oh, Coco down. Now Chips, Birdring finding a couple kills on that Widowmaker. Man, when I saw Chips fly across the street like that, I'm like, uh-oh, that is a dangerous move, and they paid for it.
It is, and Harry Hook, is he going to stick onto this bastion? He's getting close to the tank mode. Maybe just want to try and use that to clear out and at least take point A, something that the Fuel couldn't accomplish earlier this week.
And Effect has been quiet on that Widowmaker on the Dallas side so far. Needs to start finding some picks himself. Going airborne. Ooh, Taimu gets a kill on the Fury. That's a good start. Can they get the res? Here comes the Riptire. Prophet finds the kill onto Effect. The Fury goes down in return. Gesture trying to just hold strong on the payload. Taimu low. Taimu taken out. And Effect now kind of finds himself on his own. That is not a healthy place for a Widowmaker to be.
Both of the Mercies went for the Valkyrie. Chips, though, was killed by Prophet's Junkrat. They're now down to a short 2 minutes to push this payload all the way back. Harry Hook will be coming back with a Bastion ultimate to try and help out.
Well, this is already looking pretty grim for Dallas. They need to have a really big push like now if they want to take point A and have enough time to go through and ideally take the attack round. There's a Hulk pulling everybody in. Harry Hook does have the configuration tank available. That ult is up whenever he wants it. Fury res after Mickey takes him down with the self-destruct, but at least they've dislodged London. This might be their opportunity. Oh, but Chips gets hooked.
All right, gotta use that now. With Chips going down, they know they have to commit this ultimate and try and burst through the members of London. They will get Bird Ring.
Yeah, Harry Hook in big trouble now. They only killed Bird Ring with that one. Transcendence was up, and obviously the Bastion can kill people through the Transcendence with the ultimate, but you need a few more kills. Mickey and Coco surviving with just slivers of health, but they do finish point A.
Okay, the issue though, Doa, is that because the cart wasn't quite there by the time Harry Hook respawned, they're not going to be able to get control of the high ground here on the second point. He spawned all the way back at point A spawn. Now, normally we would see the Orisa and the Roadhog with the Bastion try and walk up this staircase right here, try and get up there and provide some coverage towards the point B enemy door.
Yeah.
But that's not going to be an option now, and instead, it's London with the preferential positioning.
All right, well, Effect managed to snipe the Riptire out of the air. Meanwhile, Taimu gets a pick onto Vidalson with a nice hook, courtesy of the Hulk from Coco. And they found Gesture on his own on the high ground, and now Dallas coming from both sides. Taimu going crazy on this Roadhog. You know, over the years, we've seen some pretty epic Roadhog performances from Taimu, and we saw that tweet. He wants to recapture that glory, and he found himself a Mercy. I know, Mercy for Mercy.
Taimu has always been a player that's been very self-critical about and realistic, I think, about his own performance. He's a streaky player by nature, but when he starts to get rolling, it is gorgeous.
Oh, absolutely. And you know, it is that self-critiquing that has helped him stay in the top tiers of Overwatch too. You know, he's not going to be, he's not going to sugarcoat it for himself, right? If he needs to work on something, he knows it and he'll let everyone know. Oh, nice reflect from Prophet. Oops.
Yeah, it's not going to mean the most. It does mean that they're going to have to walk through the chokes, though. So instead of having the opportunity to play through a larger open door, it will close behind them.
Yeah.
And again, so these mistakes, right, as points are switching over, are meaning that Dallas Fuel is having a harder time on their attack.
How does he pull out? Doesn't get the kill on the Bird Ring after he hooks him. Has to back away. That whole hog coming in. And they've got the benefit of the supercharger too. Coco put that one down.
Yeah, Effect getting Nuss and Prophet though will allow them some more time. Fury delaying for as long as he can by sacrificing himself on the payload. And
well, Dallas really rolling through point C here. They've got the Valkyrie. They've got the ultimate from Bastion too.
They've been stubborn about switching off this Bastion, but they got it back on the payload now. And they're going to have a long sight line heading into the point with that ultimate up. That pulse bomb is not going to do anything.
Yeah.
Except for...
It irritates Taimu, and you don't want to do that. It's dangerous stuff. Vicky trying to take the high ground now, chasing some people away here. Nice kill onto Gesture. Harry Hook, can he get any more out of this? Another one would help. Ooh, can't quite find Nuss. Oh, it was so close. Meanwhile, Effect res after going down. Harry Hook back in the Sentry configuration. Doing a lot of damage here, but can't keep himself alive. Prophet with the kill. Vicky nearly demeched. He was down to like 14 health. Looks like he's going to be popped out of the Diva suit now, though.
This might be an issue. Prophet will be returning with a Dragon Blade, and he'll be hunting for these Dallas supports. There's one down. There's going.
Oh, man.
Absolutely everybody.
Prophet. That is absolutely everybody. Fury comes in with the smooth fadeaway self-destruct onto Coco, too. Who gets out, but that's a rough one. They still have about a minute and a half to go. And the duel happening. Taimu, can he find Prophet? No hooks onto him. That was close, though.
And needs to wait for his teammates before everybody jumps on him, so wise to fall back. Everybody has returned, however.
Yeah.
Minute and a half left. Still some time for Dallas to get some ultimates, but they are playing from a pretty difficult position.
Yeah, London with all the advantages right now. Oh, especially after killing two supports. That certainly is what I would call an advantage. It's not bad.
These are economy pushes from Dallas. They need to get some of their support ults up. They're only sitting at 34% right now with a minute left.
Harry Hook over on the Zenyatta now. Swapped off that Bastion finally. Effect moving to the Tracer. Taimu to the McCree.
I'm afraid that Dallas's best opportunity might have already passed them by.
I think that last fight, or 2 fights ago, is probably going to be it.
Yeah, Taimu trying to pull out some heroics. They will be going for the double hit scan.
Hey, it wouldn't be the first time. See if he can do it, though. Nuss does have that Valkyrie. Ooh, gets very low. Survives. No, Mickey.
That's a huge kill, actually.
Him off. Harry Hook and Taimu go down simultaneously, though. So Dallas losing people they can't afford to lose. Gesture coming up big with the counter dive.
Oh, and chips high and dies right as he gets the Valkyrie. Was a chance there to turn things around, but great response into the back line.
Dude, there's only 15 seconds.
Yeah, there are only 15 seconds left, Noah, and it looks like Fuel will be able to get there, but it's going to be a bit of a desperate attack onto the payload itself.
Well, they got to try. Coco diving in. Mickey needs to get to the payload. They need to touch it. Less than 5 seconds now, and Prophet with that Dragon Blade looking for the opportunity. Oh, Coco on his own. He had to touch the payload. Can't blame him. Mickey doesn't get anyone with that self-destruct, and here comes Prophet again. He has been the hero of London Spitfire this map, and he will come through one more time, it looks like. Yeah, the Beck brought back up, though.
There's no more resurrects, however, for the Dallas Fuel, so these guys are going to be permanently dead with that Valkyrie.
Well, they tried and they nearly got there, but they weren't quite able to complete it. Spitfire take Junkertown.
That was a close map, though.
Sure was.
And we've seen some good performances from the Dallas Fuel, but not enough to go ahead and take this map. However, certainly an improvement over earlier this week.
Oh yeah, I mean, no question, Dallas already looking stronger than they did against Houston. That was really kind of the darkest timeline for them in that match, but bouncing back a little bit despite the loss on the first map. London Spitfire looking strong like we knew they would. It's not going to be easy for Dallas, but they definitely came to play today.
Yeah, they did, and really convincing, I think, from London. We see this roster and what they're capable of, and it's scary because you know they have 6 other guys on their bench, and it's only going to be more terrifying when they figure out the most effective ways of swapping out their players.
Those zoning outs don't go anywhere, guys. Map 2 coming up soon.
The Overwatch League is brought to you by Omen by HP and by Intel.
league that offers opportunity for talented competitors to test and push our assumptions about how the game is meant to be played.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are coming at you live from Los Angeles, California. Welcome to the Blizzard Arena.
London Spitfire up over Dallas Fuel, 1-0 so far. And as we look ahead to Lunar Colony, what do you expect to see, Monty?
Well, I am really excited to see the substitution that the London Spitfire have made, because we haven't seen any deviation in their roster yet we know they have an excellent player, and actually many excellent players waiting on the bench.
This one that's being subbed in right now is one of my favorite players from our time in Korea. We're going to see in a second, but we're just going to tell you, Rascal's actually subbing in. There he is, finally. Rascal and Birdring reunited once more.
And for those of you who didn't watch Apex in Korea or didn't watch the preseason, Rascal has, as you say, typically been the partner from a team called Kongdu with Birdring.
Right.
And the thing about Rascal, and why I'm excited about him, is that he's such an interesting wild card player. When we saw him on the preseason on this map, Horizon Lunar Colony, he was playing Mei on defense, and his team played beautifully with him. He was cutting off all the entrances, picking people off. It was an extremely impressive display of skill. But when you see Rascal coming into the lineup, it means things like Mei as the second DPS. It means things like Sombra.
Yep.
So there are all these opportunities, and he is a bit of a DPS specialist, but in terms of creating interesting strategies, this is where you want to see the diversity in team composition from London.
Well, the fun thing, as we look at our map pool again, Horizon Lunar Colony up next, the fun thing about Rascal that I always really liked is that he was very good at taking the new hero, whatever that new DPS hero was, and being the best with it early on.
Yep.
He was probably the best Sombra in Korea early on when we were watching him back in Apex. He was a great Doomfist early on when that hero came out. And he had those weird kind of pocket picks like the Mei you mentioned too. So he's a specialist in the best sense, and I'm looking forward to seeing what he brings here on Lunar Colony.
Yeah, and that's not to say he can't play standard as well. His aura is also notable. Probably not going to see it on this map.
Yeah.
But regardless, exciting time to have a new opportunity to look at a player in this London roster and see what they are going to be pulling out here.
We've been missing him too. I've missed my Rascal.
The two players I want to see the most that are on the bench have been Rascal and Fisher.
Sure.
I say on the bench. It's probably not a permanent thing. I think London is being intelligent in that they want to make a solid lineup and then figure out slowly how to introduce more unique factors and use all their players optimally. But they want some sort of bedrock, a foundation to build their strategies off of, and that's what we've seen up until this point.
Yeah. Wow, somebody better turn that computer off, otherwise anyone can just walk up and control that satellite, apparently.
I don't think this lab was secure or
well, clearly they had security issues.
Very ethical. Yeah. I mean, creating other beings with, basically creating consciousness in non-conscious animals, I think, is of questionable morality.
Hey, I'm just worried somebody could hijack that guy's Twitter account. That's
the real caster fear. That's why you can never leave the computer unlocked around other casters.
He could ruin his social media presence.
You know somebody's going to come up and troll you.
I know, right? Well, here we go. Dallas Fuel on that high ground defense. London Spitfire on the attack. And Fidosin, the one actually playing the Sombra. We thought it might be Rascal, but he's going to bring out the Widowmaker.
Yeah, and we're not going to see the Moira, which is the typical use of this composition, instead of having the Widowmaker. So it's interesting that the Rascal is going to be staying back and trying to snipe them as they are forced onto the point.
Yeah. Trying to find some shots here as his team pulls Dallas back into the point off the high ground. Nuss low, Nuss taken down. Mickey getting those heals. He's not going to get demeched. And they're all hiding from Rascal.
Yeah, the idea behind this composition was to get the Sombra and the Tracer onto the point, quickly try and take over the health packs on both sides of the point with the hack to quickly build up an EMP. But the issue is when you have that Widowmaker, you're accounting for the fact that they're going to drop everything and then suddenly rush to the point where you're going to be able to hit a shot. And Rascal didn't hit the shot, didn't really have the opportunity.
Yeah, putting some damage in on effect, and that's enough for Birdring to finish the job. So now the man advantage going to London Spitfire here. Fidosin, though, I don't think he's got a teleport at the moment. He has to back off, has to be careful. Yeah, tossing another one over to that other health pack. And Coco getting low. It's getting dangerous now. Mickey taken out, and London with all the advantages here as they come into the point.
I disagree with Dallas Fuel resetting onto the high ground there, Doa. They didn't have enough players to effectively and quickly make it back onto the point. I think once you see this style of comp, you have to defend from the point itself.
Well, Chips gets stuck, Taimu gets juggled, and the point, I got a feeling, is going to get taken.
Yeah, fortunately for Dallas, they did win the first engagement, so they're going to have a lot of ultimates to work with on point B. So the chance of a snowball very low, especially as Bedosin is forced to use his EMP here.
Yep. People kind of streaming into the point to try to delay it a little bit on the Dallas side, but you got to give it up now. You got to get ready for that point B defense, and that's what they're going to do.
I think it's smart, though, that Dallas did that, because eliminating the threat of the EMP means that you have a guaranteed Valkyrie. You're not going to get EMP'd and not be able to pop that ultimate and maybe get snowballed. So that is entirely worth it if you're Dallas.
Able to force it at least. And now London Spitfire on the attack here on point B. See what they can get done with this first one coming in on the high ground now.
Yeah, the Sombra not going to be viable here on the second point.
Yep.
So they do switch Bedosin to the Zenyatta, not the same ability to flank with those health packs. And we're still seeing Rascal stay on the Widowmaker.
Oh, they tried to kind of get in the back lines a little bit that with the dive on the Dallas side, but it didn't work out. In fact, Coco taken down with that pulse bomb. Now Taimu using that tac visor. Can they get anything with it? They're pushing London back a little bit at least, but no, Rascal comes back in, trying to find those shots, but he's got an angry monkey in his face. Not anymore. Coco dies once more. Gesture res, so the Winston's still up for the London Spitfire right now. Now Mickey chasing Rascal away, but so much attention has been put on this guy. Meanwhile, Taimu finding a couple kills here, but it seems like the reses are unending on the London side.
Now the kills are starting to come through too in favor of London, so because they couldn't kill Rascal, he starts to pick people off.
Now Rascal's just wrecking people right now. Again, all this attention, they finally kill him as Coco pops that Primal Rage. Jerry Hook trying to bide his time. He's managed to wait to use that Transcendence at least.
That Primal Rage was so critical.
Yeah.
We did see Bedosin try and get back to his teammate on the side by using the Transcendence, but because Coco moved him outside of the range of the healing, got the pick off and stayed alive, and even though it was so close to that first tick in favor of London, they didn't make it, so it goes all the way back down to 0 right now. Meanwhile, Taimu still has another tac visor to work with. Rascal goes on to the McCree right now. Definitely think that's going to be a better pickup, especially with how deep Effect likes to play.
I've got you. Yep, there's the tac visor again, just not letting them out of that corner. Going to the side, he's gonna swap. Just pop the ult, so okay. He used that to give himself time to switch, I think. And yeah, he's going to the Widowmaker. When we used to see this, we used to say, ooh, Taimu's mad now, but I feel like that's how he started the day.
I think he's been pretty frustrated with their performance.
Yeah.
As we can see in his tweets earlier on. And
well, this is serious business, Taimu, now. I'd be afraid.
Yeah, this is a response to seeing that McCree. So what happened was his teammates told him that there wasn't going to be another Widow, so he would always have the range advantage against the McCree. So as long as Effect plays a bit more conservatively and doesn't open himself up to some flashbangs or overly aggressive attacks, Taimu will have some opportunities. He's going to get damage boosted right here.
Yeah, gets a couple shots onto Gesture. More though. There's a nice one onto Fury. Can he get the deep neck? I think he may have. No, it was close at least. Coco blown up by the self-destruct though. Mickey coming back down. He did get the kill on the enemy. Zen at least. London still bottled up in that corner, trying to break out. Mickey going deep, man. Sees a couple low health members. Can he capitalize? They got a couple, but Rascal managed to demech him with the Deadeye anyway.
There were a series of good body blocks in that fight for Dallas, and now Taimu's still trying to hunt for a kill, and he's just not going to get. He has to switch off right now.
You just can't heal, or you just can't get those kills through the Transcendence, and somebody's got to get to the point.
Oh, he didn't get onto the point.
Oh, that hurts, man. The ice block was a bit too early, and London Spitfire will go ahead and get 2 points here on their attack. 2-12 in the time bank for them.
Yeah, that's rough. He just didn't time the ice block right to hop directly onto the point there.
Yep.
And so the stall, not possible. And now we get to see what London's going to do. Again, this is where they came through with the May. in the preseason, so I hope we do get a chance to see that hero used here again.
I mean, when you put Rascal in, and if you put Rascal in and you don't play May on Lunar Colony defense, I question your sanity, London Spitfire.
Hey, I hope we see it. I hope we see it. Right now, doesn't look like we're going to be seeing it.
I'm questioning your sanity, yeah.
The clock is ticking down, but Rascal is on the Junkrat.
All right. I suppose that's reasonable. He's such a good May, though.
He is a wonderful May. Oh. There's still time for it in this match, Stoa, but it's not going to happen, at least on the point A defense.
Doesn't look like it. Not from what we can see, anyway. But Dallas, another frustrating round for them. I mean, they managed to eat a decent amount of time off of the time bank, but 2:12 in the clock is still pretty good for London Spitfire.
Yeah, it is. But there's always those new opportunities, especially with the fuel. If you get a snowball push off the first one, if you can really just jam it through, you can get very fast times on any assault map.
Yep.
So Taimu now, looks like he will be playing that Widowmaker with effect on the Tracer, so pretty standard composition here to get onto the point and try and force a battle on the point where Taimu will have the edge through the big window at long range with the Widowmaker. London Spitfire playing what has become a pretty standard pick composition on the high ground here.
That's right.
So usually the way you deal with this, like we saw Spitfire themselves do, is put some pressure on the point by coming around the left-hand side and attempting a back cap, so they have to slowly make their way down to the point itself. Coco's very far forward right now.
Yeah, I'm gonna try to tickle them from the lower floor with that Winston. They're trying to pull them back.
Yeah, Effect's already on the point.
Yeah, they're gonna wait till the last minute, I guess. Yeah, okay, they send Rascal back on the Junkrat to get rid of him. Oh, and Birdring gets the snipe onto Taimu. You can see from the kill feed. Right now, Rascal just waiting on the point, making sure Effect can't get back on there and cause any trouble. And Birdring, man, just finishing people off. Dallas having to back away. Back to the drawing board for them.
Yeah, it's interesting they sent Rascal back to deal with Effect, actually. I mean, if you can hit him with a mine, but in that, you know, it's going to be tough for him to effectively zone him out. And
effectively?
Effect back on the point again, so they are going to try this one more time. Mickey is now coming around to block with the defensive matrix some of the possible concussion mines that Rascal could be tossing out. Effect has to stay at range, can't get too close to the Junkrat.
I definitely wouldn't want to. Backing off the point for the moment. They still don't have that first tick on point A. The rest of Dallas Field just trying to get there right now, but they're being kept down by Birdring on that Widowmaker.
Yeah, and they're not really feeling the pressure to come back there. Rascal is doing the work needed to zone them.
Yeah.
So they have to dedicate some more resources as Dallas finally makes their way around. Harry Hook is still not here.
That's one tick. Coming in now, Effect. Oh, we've got that pulse bomb ready. Harry Hook taken out. Birdring found that kill again. There it is. Did he get the stick? No, not quite. He had a chance to stick gesture, and he didn't do it. That is devastating. Harry Hook brought back up again. Dallas scrambling onto the point right now, but the kills coming in favor of London Spitfire. And Effect suddenly finds himself near alone, him and Coco, fighting for their lives on the point.
So they got a tick, but the problem is that Harry Hook was isolated on the opposite side of the map away from the point. So what happened was Birdring tried to set up a crossfire onto the point where Taimu would have normally taken a position looking in, finds Harry Hook, kills him, and then basically the push is over with a big advantage for the Spitfire.
Yeah. Taimu on the McCree now.
I mean, it suits the way he's playing better. If they want to go in and all the members come around to the side of the point, this is the way you want to do it.
Yep. Rascal ready again. More Effect on the point with that Tracer. Backs away, taking fire from both sides. Trying to find a place to put that trap where he can get Effect. Now he's got the shield, and the shield isn't on the high ground. Doesn't matter. Fury manages to get the kill into Coco here. Still on board with Rascal as he tries to deal with this Tracer. Effect got out, got a little bit of healing. Coco res. Now Rascal going in. Oh man, Birdring knows where everybody is now, and that makes it easy onto Effect. Coming around the corner. What reflexes from this guy. I mean, yeah, you can see him through walls, but still, Rascal chases down Chips. That's another kill in favor of London, and they have ults to spare.
Yeah, they do, and they're the big ones as well. You can't fight into the point when they have a supercharger and a transcendence. They will be dealing an immense amount of damage. Dallas's only hope right now is to get chips up to that Valkyrie as fast as they can.
Yep. Ooh, he's waiting for Harry to show his face again.
Sect is dead. Dosen hit him.
Oh, Taimu.
The right click, and Taimu playing at that range is just not going to work versus a Widow.
They just can't do anything against this Widowmaker. Birdring just has the entire team pinned down, and Dallas Fuel has 5 seconds to get there and keep this map alive for them. Mickey D-Neck, though, that's not going to help. They get the supercharger, but nobody can get to the point, and that's going to be another map win for London Spitfire. They are up 2-0 in this series.
You can see the communication from London. Every time they came with the flank, they would send the appropriate number of players over. They zoned out effect with the threat of the sort of one-shot concussion mine combo.
Yeah.
And even when they sent Mickey there as well, it was Fury matching that. When Mickey went away, or when they got chunked out, Fury went back up to the high ground. So really smooth transitions from high ground for London on the point, and take a nice selfie there.
He's enjoying it, guys. So I hope you're enjoying it too. Halftime coming up.
The Overwatch League is brought to you by Intel and Omen by HP. It's halftime here in the Blizzard Arena. Welcome back, everybody. It's time to break down the action that we've seen so far in the first half between the London Spitfire and the Dallas Fuel. It's Puckett, Reinforced, and Sideshow once again. We're going to get into this one starting with Junkertown. So far, we have seen both these teams playing this map, especially Dallas more recently. Today they're coming in with their core lineup, and we got to talk about some of the improvements. As we run the highlights, what did we see from Dallas out of the gates?
Yeah, they were running a triple tank strategy for the majority of this map, both on offense and defense. Taimu able to play a position where he can have a lot of impact over on the Roadhog, and Effect was having a big impact on the Widowmaker when they began. Switch off to the Tracer for various different portions, but they also kept running the triple tank all the way to the end of the map as well, which is slightly unusual, not something you'd normally see.
Well, it can work as anti-dive composition. As I said in the pre-game, of course, Birdring and Prophet running the Genji and Tracer dives, so triple tank has a good time staying alive versus those dives, but I think they put Coco on the Orisa a bit far too long, and if you're playing the dive composition, it's so easy to run around the Orisa because she doesn't have any mobility. So maybe if they put Coco on the Winston instead, he would have been able to peel a bit more, and they would have been able to shut down the dives from the London Spitfire.
So if you stick with your triple tank, what's the ideal 3 for you? Do you still keep the Hog in there?
Yes, I want to keep the Hog because it deals so much damage to these small targets like Genji and Tracer, and it can also stay alive for so long with the 600 HP pool and of course his drinking. And then you have the defense matrix on the D.Va, so I like those tanks.
All right, let's talk a little bit about why London was able to win this first map. Johnny, who had the biggest impact for the London Spitfire?
Well, for me it was Prophet, of course. He started out with the Junkrat, and he dealt so much damage to the tanks of the London Spitfire. Here on the Reaper as well on the first point, there with a huge flank coming in, getting around the entire Dallas Fuel squad. And then you also saw him swap onto the Tracer and the Genji, so he had a lot of impact overall, and for me he stood out.
How do you stop a guy like Prophet, who seems that he can play every single DPS hero?
Well, it is hard. You have to think about the fact you can swap heroes anytime in Overwatch, and so you constantly have to adapt. Now, the Dallas Fuel squad, I think their strategy is a bit off in general, because they're now back to basics, playing the same lineup we have seen so many times in the past, and so they're sort of stuck in the strategy from the past as well, where they don't really feel comfortable flexing to those heroes. We saw on Horizon, for example, where Kusta often is playing the Moira, and because no one in the former Envious squad has played Moira before, they have sort of avoided the heroes and the strategy involved in those kind of picks.
Yeah, I would also say that you're getting that kind of thing with Effect as well. Effect used to be the carry for this team, playing Tracer. He was like a one-man army in the previous patches, where Tracer was kind of more impactful. But now he's playing the Tracer. We saw it on Horizon a little bit, but he's not able to have the same kind of dominating impact. He's not picking up 1-2 kills and setting it up for the rest of his team. So perhaps if we saw him playing some of the heroes, he does have a Genji. I know it's not quite at the same level as somebody like Prophet, but if we see him on more of these heroes that in this meta can carry, stuff like the Widowmaker, then perhaps they would have a bit more of a performance. Because right now, Taimu, although he was playing the Roadhog to a good level, was not having a superstar performance on the Roadhog that you would need from him to be able to just launch you through those two maps.
Sideshow, I know we do have a clip. Sorry to cut you off. I want to get to this highlight, and Sideshow is going to illustrate it for us. For all of you Dallas fans that are at home worried, yes, your team is down, but there were some signs of life in this first game on Junkertown.
There certainly were, and here we've got a mini-map showing a flank around from Taimu and Coco. So it's these two guys at the bottom that you want to keep your eyes on here. Taimu and Coco, they go for a big flank coming from all the way around here, and they're going to pop up in this little avenue and try and get a halt and a hook onto Badosin. Now, you've also got to keep your eye on Prophet, who's going to be coming around here and trying to add pressure from this angle, along with Birdring, who's going to be doing the same from over here. So as we play this forward slowly, you can keep your eyes on Taimu and Coco at the bottom of your screen. They're going to go for this long flank, the two tanks, and they catch Badosin with a halt and a hook. At the same time, I'm going to pause it here again, and it shows that London Splitfire at this point are being split into two pieces. They can either choose to turn around with Birdring and Prophet and really focus on the peeling for their backline. Prophet could use this tire that he's just popped to help out Badosin, but instead he's going to try and launch the tire above here. Birdring's going to try and cut in as well, but Effect has a sightline, and this is them reacting to ultimates and being aware of them, which was such a problem for them in the Houston Outlaws game. You can see that as Taimu and Coco are wrecking their backlines, Prophet and Birdring decide to go aggressive. Effect shuts down this tire that's coming across, and they're not able to either win the defensive or the offensive situation because Dallas Fuel have set up this nice two-pronged attack so well. They're able to peel for their backline, and Taimu and Coco are able to kill the guys at the back. So they've got a nice strategy set up. They're just not able to pull this out often enough, I think.
Okay, so Dallas showing some signs of life, but they are 0-2, and let's talk about that second map here, Reinforce. As we go into Horizon, it's going to be a nice attack coming out of our Korean lineup, the London Spitfire. Let's talk about what worked for them first before we get to the issues from Dallas.
Well, Bedosen on the Sombra, of course, it works so well for many teams. We see this new meta in many ways, where it is the Sombra and the Tracer, and then Rascal on the Widow to just be another threat on the other side of the map. And it works so well for so many teams. So it's a nice strategy that works all around. But then later on, we get to point B, where actually Dallas Fuel put up sort of a defense with time on the Soldier and the Widowmaker. So we saw some signs of life from this Dallas Fuel squad when you get into the nitty-gritty fights and you're not really playing the strategy game as much.
Sideshow, most impressive player from the Spitfire throughout their second win. We already talked about Prophet and what he did in the first map. Who was the hero for the Spitfire in Game 2?
You know, I'm going to have to go with Fury for this one as well, because throughout all of their victories in the Overwatch League, he's been putting up a really solid performance on that off-tank. Often goes kind of unsung in some sense, but he's constantly putting in great diva work. He's had a great Roadhog performance there in that last map, and he is one of the core members of the team that's allowing them to have these rotations, these quick adaptations, and put out a lot of damage from the tank line. And it's something that Dallas Fuel kind of lack on their side, this strong, stable tank.
Yes, and I also want to bring up Rascal here. We saw Doa and Monte Cristo often mention the sub-in from Rascal, who is such a flexible and versatile player, and he can play pretty much every hero, often the Sombra, the Genji, the Junkrat, the McCree, all of them. So this player had so much impact when it comes to the strategy involved in the assault maps and Horizon here specifically. So shout out to Rascal.
So we've seen Birdring, we've seen Prophet, Rascal is in the mix. What is London going to be fielding in map number 3? That's the question on my mind. Reminder, before the break, we were in this same situation with the Gladiators last night. They were down 0-2 to Philadelphia Fusion. They won map 3. That got momentum into map 4, and they ended up winning 3 straight to take this series. So if you're a Dallas fan at home, don't give up hope quite yet, but you might as well at the end of Game 3 if they don't walk away with the win. The players know the pressure is on. We'll see if they can step up to the task. The Overwatch League is brought to you by Toyota. Let's go places.
do more impressive things. Birdring being able to play so many different things so well.
시작할 때 시걸 선수의 방송을 보면서 이제 오버워치를 시작하게 됐는데
Seagull looking for that shot. He's usually pretty accurate.
그때 시걸 선수의 갈매기 조류 저도 조류로 하고 싶어서 버드에다가 링을 붙이게 돼서 이제 버드 링이 된 것 같습니다.
I consider it an honor that he named himself after me just because he's so absolutely good at the game. It's kind of incredible.
And they are getting shredded right now, Birdring.
한국에서도 이제 시걸 하면은 그래도 오버워치 좀 했다 하는 사람들이 이제 다 아는 정도라고 생각해요.
I never knew I had that many fans there. I'm streaming and it's like 5 a.m. their time, but they still watch when they can, and that's incredible. The reach of Overwatch is truly global.
가까워지고 싶은 마음은 있는데 워낙 시걸 선수가 이제 오버워치계 간판? 거의 뭐 걸어다니는 대기업 수준이라서 약간 좀 제가 먼저 다가가기엔 좀 약간 부담스러운 느낌?
I watch him as much as I can every match. When we were sitting in scrims and I could spectate, I was spectating him most of the time. He is extremely good, and I would love to play against him.
All the kills for Birdring. He is greedy right now.
I really want to meet him. I still haven't. I've played his team, but I haven't talked to him or met him in real life yet. I just want to give him a hug. He's awesome.
That's right, and you can see on your screen, Seagull back in for Mickey here, finally getting a chance to have that matchup. Both of these guys have been looking forward to Seagull versus Birdring. Two players enter, well, and they'll both leave, which is, it's just a video game, guys. Don't take it too seriously.
Yeah,
fortunately,
both of them are going to leave and have another chance.
They'll be okay. Don't
in the future, and it will be profit in for Rascal as we head to Oasis. So, this is an expected swap off here for the London Spitfire, but a bit interesting for the Dallas Fuel to take away their off tank. So, what this probably means is what we saw from Dallas in the preseason is that they really like to use the Orisa Roadhog combo on Oasis, which was notably unusual, but now with Seagull in the lineup, they have some options to play Samphara as well as the Junkrat, so we could see a few different looks here. Triple tank, if we head to University with effect on the Zarya, certainly another option. So they seem to have some flexibility in the compositions that Dallas can run here.
Well, that's one of the things that everyone always gets excited about with Dallas, right? Is the amount that they can mix and match their players with the hero pools. But it's almost like they've got too many pieces, and they haven't quite been able to find out how to put them together to make that, you know, fast, efficient race car yet. Right now, they've just got a bunch of wheels and engine parts sitting around, you know?
But they're really nice engine parts.
Yeah,
and
that's
you know they're top quality.
That's right.
And once you can put them together, it's going to be a really sick racing car. But
exactly.
You have to get there, right?
Right now, it's a pile of parts, but soon it will be one of those epic, sleek, Jake-slaying cars that you see outside of City Center here on Oasis.
I like that, the stat we had that day that now 100% of car hits have resulted in eliminations on Oasis.
Cars 1, Jake 0.
Cars 1, everybody 0.
It's true.
So, effect actually on the McCree, and we do see Seagull on the Junkrat, so interesting times, especially with Chips on the Lucio and Harry on the Zenyatta. Typically, you would expect that to be the other way around.
All right, well, looks like they're going to roll with it anyway, though. Interesting.
Yeah,
I mean, here we go.
Yeah, we're actually going to see nearly the same thing. Well, Nuss will switch over to the Mercy.
All right.
And Fury will be
Understandably.
on the Diva right now. So, actually, no Pharah's coming into City Center. Will be ground war here on the bottom.
Yeah, both teams going with the Junkrat McCree.
Prophet's going to be flanking around to the side right now. He wants to pick up somebody on the back line. Taimu actually the first to fall.
Yeah, goes down early. Just got into the middle of too much fire coming from the London Spitfire side. Taimu rezzed again, though, so it's okay. The fight continues.
And now Prophet coming around again. They're trying to set up these crossfires, and we do see Dallas falling all the way back.
That's right. London's also taking control of the high ground, which is making it tough for Effect to move forward at all.
It's still battle for this point, though. Everyone contesting.
Yeah, both teams are playing it so safe here. Now Nuss goes down. Seagull taken out as well, though. Losing that Mercy is big. They lost both supports. In fact, Dallas pulling ahead in this fight. There's no more healing for London right now. Deadeye. Oh, he finds Fury.
Right on the D-Mech coming off of Harry Hook walking up beyond the barrier, the Winston barrier, to get the right click to D-Mac, and perfectly timed with the Deadeye. That'll be a first cap here from Dallas. No. Seagull's got the tire, and that will be Prophet falling to the Junkrat ultimate and getting staggered well behind his teammates on the respawn.
You'd think a Prophet would have seen that coming.
Oh, well, he rarely sees those coming. I don't think any of us do. Not quite so gifted, I
We can hear them coming, though. Oh, Tynoon. And he kills on that one. Doesn't look like it. Taimu. Oh, actually, Seagull taken out. And here comes Gesture with the big Winston ultimate. Got a couple. Big Seagull off, but Dallas still holding strong on the point. I believe for one, Gesture taken down. They've got that early kill. The Reds comes in on the Winston, of course.
Resurrect still available here.
Oh, went for the hook on the Mercy. That is bold. Didn't hit it. Able to get out, though, with the breather.
He's not going to use the whole hog now, Taimu, to go ahead and push this Transcendent Zenyatta off the point. Two members of the Dallas Fuel are down now as Taimu falls, so
no more tanks.
It's a matter of cleanup, and basically they're just heading onto the point one by one. So Dallas still has Harry Hook and Effect alive, and this will mean a retreat back towards their spawn. Effect is low, but getting healed up. Solid the Orb of Harmony.
Yeah, solid first hold for Dallas, and they have a lot of ultimates to come back and retake the point with. So now it's on London to just be really efficient with this next fight.
Yeah, I think if you're Dallas, you're still feeling like you're in a good position for a retake, especially if Seagull can pull off a pick. Prophet's going to make the first attempt, though, with the Rip Tire.
Yep. Whoa, this tire's going way up there. And death from above. Oh, 3! He came from behind, and nobody saw that one coming. That was crazy.
Wow, what a long-range tire, and everyone grouped up. No one able to shoot it quickly enough.
Yeah.
So that's a lot of time for this control percent to build up now as Prophet makes the big Rip Tire play. However,
it's huge.
Nothing used for the Dallas Fuel, so it's not a wasted push.
That's right. Oh, don't play in traffic. That's getting a little bit dangerous. It's high noon. Oh, but Effect takes it down. That was the Old West shootout that I think we were all hoping for there. Effect a little bit quicker on the draw, though, than Bird Ring.
That was overly aggressive from the members of the London Spitfire, however.
Too aggressive,
and now Taimu's mercy hunting on the sides, misses his hook. But it's still going to be a point capture here for Dallas as things are going to swing back into their favor, and they will take the lead shortly.
I've never seen two McCrees just like high noon at each other like that. Nice hook from Taimu, another kill. And that was about as Old West as it gets. Effect with another kill on the Bird Ring. There's a new sheriff in town, and I'm using that in a much better sense than the Houston Outlaws.
Yeah, creating law and order on the point.
That's right. Justice has been served in Dallas. Getting close to 90% already.
And they still have the Trance, they still have the Valkyries trying to get some environmental eliminations and prevent them from attacking as far forward as he can. Prophet will take out Seagull's Rip Tire, so no forward kill there, and Taimu will find himself in traffic.
That's right, another sacrifice to the traffic gods, and Dallas trying to hold without one of their tanks right now. London coming in, they've got that Transcendence.
Yeah, Supercharger's been deployed, so they want the damage while they wait for Taimu to come back.
Well, they got Bird Ring, actually. Here comes the Transcendence, a little bit late. Effect already with 2 kills here. Seagull trying to stay alive, sneaks through the pillar there, turning around, and Effect relatively unopposed if he can survive the one-on-one. He bounces back, gets the kill on Medosin in the end.
Oh, the flashbang.
Whoa.
That'll be Dallas Fuel taking the first point on Oasis.
Yeah, they are still in this one, and pretty epic round from Effect on that McCree.
Yeah, absolutely. But Taimu hitting the necessary hooks as well. Not Hicks, hooks as well.
What do you have against people from the country, Monte Cristo?
Did not mean that at all.
Wow.
And we're going to see if they run a similar strategy here, whether the Pharah is going to come out on one of the most Pharah dominant points in Gardens we have in Overwatch.
You'd think so, but then again, we're talking about Dallas Fuel here. They were one of the teams that during the preseason had this really unique composition that rejected the Pharah, and they did win those matches.
Yeah, they did, and it was because they were so good at that, what Uber calls the ball and chain combo of halt into the chain hook.
Yep.
And they're going to try it again here. So Effect once again coming around to the side, and it is Gesture on a Reinhardt and Fury on a Zarya. Now,
interesting.
This is a composition you might say, okay, we'll see this on University. You would almost never expect to see it here on Gardens.
I mean, this is something done in expectation of what Dallas brings out here.
Yeah, I think
they're going to try to break that hard point, and they've got a composition that may be even harder.
So the halt is less effective against Reinhardt because even if you use him, you can't get him from behind cover.
Yeah.
So.
Well, they still kill Gesture first. Coco goes down as well, and London does manage to muscle Fuel off the point long enough to take it themselves.
Yeah, it looks like it's going to be even longer now as Effect takes some damage on the side. Taimu does get resurrected, and he's just not going to be able to break through this Zarya and this McCree, especially with Gesture and Prophet nearly back. It will be taking some time for the members of Dallas to regroup, and we see all 6 members running onto the high ground right now from London.
They're taking that more defensible position here. Prophet. Oh, what? That was interesting. All right. Oh, that tire didn't do too much. Birdring, though, standing strong up there. Nuss does go down. Effect striking first. High Noon comes out. Now it's High Noon on the other side. Ooh, could be a big one. Fury does go down to the Riptire from Seagull, though. And Dallas pushing forward here. Effect gets brought back up again. And Gesture shield nearly down. Birdring. Ooh, can't take Taimu.
And the face right now, Gesture just has to retreat. It's only him, Prophet, and Nuss remaining.
Yep. Should be all she wrote for Prophet. There it is, and Dallas will flip it. So 55%, pretty good start for London Spitfire. Dallas Fuel, though, getting their control percent rolling, and they have a little bit of an ult advantage now.
Yeah, they just didn't get very much done with the Graviton, and Fury realizes it's going to be time to switch over to the D.Va right now.
Yep.
Attempt to cut down on the effectiveness of the grenade spam from the Junkrat, and the Deadeye is from Effect, at least get into his face. Effect well on the side right now, trying to deal some damage behind the shield. That's Harry Hook who gets hit by an Earth Shatter.
Oh yeah, that was one specially for him here. Flashbang comes in, Effect dodging to the outside. Seagull did drop during all that, but they're trying to find a way to equalize here.
Chips has used the Valkyrie, so as long as they can get back onto the point right now, should be effective. And Effect, point blank, flashbang.
Effective.
Very, and there's no mercy over here with the London Spitfire, so they can't answer the resurrections. And Nuss will switch over, but it's pretty late into this game for that swap. Maybe enough time.
It's time. Well, they took a gamble on something that was trying to counter what Dallas Fuel was using, and it didn't work out. So now back to a slight amount of normalcy here. Prophet, can he find another big Riptire?
He's looking for it right now. One yes, he can. Both supports. It was nearly dead, but not finished off.
Snuck it down through the hallway past Taimu. Deadeye comes in. Can they save this one? Can they stall it out at least? Oh, he misses the flashbang, and that's not good. Birdring obviously can capitalize on that one. Taimu taken out, and London will get their control percent building once more.
Yes, up to 84%, and we saw Effect use the Deadeye late because he was already planning on swapping over to the Tracer. Prophet now on the Genji, so they're going to have to deal with some dive here. And Effect feeling like it's his time to stop this Mercy before she can get a resurrect.
Oh, that is a bold move by Prophet, but it pays off. Harry Hook and Coco both going down, courtesy of the little bit of the damage he did. Nuss taken out by Seagull's Riptire. But they need a bit more of that, or a few more kills.
Well, they're going to get Coco back up, so now they may just push on forward here because Nuss is all the way back at spawn.
Yeah. All right, Prophet low, Prophet down. An opportunity here. Fury trying to find a place to put that self-destruct. Locked in place for the moment here. We're into OT. Dallas trying to flip it back again. And that self-destruct gotta come out pretty soon here. There it is. Gonna go ahead and use it. Can't stay alive though. No kills out of it. Dallas with an opportunity here.
Yeah, they definitely have that chance. Nuts is getting so close to the Valkyrie, but he's not there yet. He can't get his last 2%, just 1%, but it's in overtime, and the point flips.
They flip it. London Spitfire 99%. Dallas Fuel getting close to 90 themselves, and look at those ults on the Dallas Fuel side. They've got 4 of them.
Yeah, but Prophet and Gesture will have theirs momentarily if they can make it back in time.
They will try.
Birdring already there, so starting the contesting early on, and they're gonna try and punish this Winston ulting.
Well, Effect dropped early, but Taimu zoning the supports out. Has he done it long enough? Effect comes back. Taimu getting in behind. Oh, he misses another hook. But that doesn't matter because the kills are coming in big time for Dallas. They may have won this map right now unless Prophet can turn it around. Doesn't look like he can. One last ditch effort by Gesture and now Snell go down. And Dallas Fuel are not out of this match yet. They will win Oasis.
And they still have that opportunity to run it all the way back and get the reverse sweep.
It's not going to be easy, but it is possible.
It is definitely possible. Numbani will be our next map. Seems like we might see some more substitutions, but an impressive 2-0 victory, even with unorthodox compositions.
Yeah.
The execution is there for the Fuel.
I mean, talk about some pretty epic individual performances on that series. Effect really came to play.
Think about the last time we saw Oasis Gardens with
That
0 Faras. Wow. Pulling it into himself there.
Hey, taking one for the team.
It's a sacrifice, and Prophet coming up with the good double support rip tires consistently.
Crazy stuff. Numbani next.
The Overwatch League is brought to you by Intel and Omen by HP.
Hey guys, this is Zoe again, and I just quickly want to talk a little bit about coaches. Every coach in this league has different things he needs to focus on. I'm now joined by London Spitfires coach, Bishop. Please give it up for that man. There we go. Bishop, you guys are coming into this with two separate rosters, pre-existing rosters, who have a lot of experience and a lot of talents. What are the things you as a coach need to focus on here?
Well, the biggest obstacle that we have is, believe it or not, the fact that we have so much talent in our roster. All 12 players, really talented players. But it's a happy problem that as a coach to have. I know a lot of our fans out there and Monte are really looking forward to having some of the other players show up and play. But we're always trying to make it so that our performance is always, befitting the caliber of the players that we have. So it's a constant struggle to make sure that all the players, get their fair time and that we come up with the strong synergy roster. But it's something we're really working on.
All right. Now, how do you guys actually prepare against rosters of that size, such as Dallas Fuel, who's sporting 10 people?
Well, I mean, the fact that we have a 12-man roster, I think I can speak on behalf of all the other teams out there that have a large roster. And what I want to say is that the larger the roster you have, it kind of comes with its own risks. It's really obvious what a team is going to try and implement when a new player is coming in, because each player usually has a special role that they have within their team. So I guess when you're prepping against a team that has a large roster, you really want to look at the players' individual strengths and weaknesses and kind of play off of that.
All right, Bishop, thank you so much for the insight. Bishop from the London Spitfire, everyone. Now let's see if they can win the next map or if the Dallas Fuel will tie it up on that map number 4. And for all the action, we're heading back to the wonderful Monty and Doa.
All right, thanks. So it kind of sounded like Bishop was in a job interview in college or something. Well, our greatest weakness is also our greatest strength, in fact. But he is right, that you've got a lot to draw from on London, and we're starting to kind of see that big roster coalescing into a really, really strong lineup.
And as Mickey comes in for Seagull, you've seen the different strategies that each of the coaches are taking with these large rosters.
Yeah.
In the case of Dallas Fuel, we've seen numerous substitutions over the first 2 weeks of play. With London, they've been a bit more conservative, saying we're starting these 6 guys, and then occasionally, for the first time ever, in one map today on Horizon, we saw Rascal, their new player. So I'm looking forward to seeing how they expand over time. And also for you guys, as we head into Numbani, something fun. We did see Bishop himself be a professional player in Overwatch in the first season of Apex. So
yeah, you and I casted him way back when.
That's right, and he transitioned quickly into a coaching role over at Cloud9, and now here for the London Spitfire. So respected among his peers, that's for sure.
Yep, that's right. And now we go to Numbani, a chance for Dallas Fuel to tie up this series and send us to that Lijiang Tower tiebreaker. And just as much, a chance for the London Spitfire to secure another match win and go 3-0 so far in the Overwatch League.
We're all hoping we go to that 5th map, though. That'd be...
I'd love to see it. And I think Dallas would really love to see that, too. I mean, after they won this last control map, I feel like, they really feel confident if we do go to it.
Yeah, this is one of those times, though, where you are pretty confident what you're going to see, as Bishop was saying. When it comes to the roster substitutions, obviously Mickey plays mostly that diva, and we are going to see a pretty quintessentially Fuel roster with Harry Hook and a single support. So Harry Hook playing the Soldier 76. He's the best Soldier player on this team.
Yeah.
And people might be surprised to see Taimu on Sombra, but he and Chips were both the Sombra players. So we actually have seen him flex onto this hero
many times
previously.
Well, and the other thing, too, is we have seen it a few times on this map, and that's where you hack the health packs around the outside and kind of make it harder for that team to make a longer push work, right? You're not going to be able to go back and heal up after you take a little bit of chip damage. You just have to go in and rely on your healers. So the Sombra thing is not used quite as much, but it can be effective.
See where he's going to hack first. Looks like he's going to go forward and hack that health pack, the mega health pack right in front, so that as they poke, there will be fewer options for the Spitfire to regain some of that healing. Spitfire will be going with the tried and true Tracer Soldier combination. This does mean that they need to get onto that high ground. Birdring, as you can see, patiently waiting. Prophet's already through, and he's trying to harass Taimu on the Sombra in the back, but Taimu's sitting on a hacked mini health pack right now, so it's going to feed him ult charge, really, as Effect comes around to try and help out.
London trying to draw Dallas away to give the Birdring a chance to take the high ground here, but Nuss will fall instead, and now be dosing a little bit on his own. Oh, but Coco does go down. maybe they got a chance here. Taimu comes in for a bit of revenge, but Birdring, he did get that high ground. Now he needs to do something with it, but they've lost so many people already.
I mean, it's a 3v3 right now between Fuel and Spitfire, and Dallas Fuel has a spawn advantage on this map.
Yeah.
So they will be able to get back there faster, and that's why you're going to see Spitfire start to retreat. Prophet on the point.
Well,
Birdring, recall, he might have actually bit off more than he can chew.
Well, Birdring hopped out so that their Mercy could get back quicker, and now they're going to try to get on the point. They lose Gesture in the process, though, but Dallas Fuel diving deep, and Coco's going to pay for it.
Here comes the EMP, though. It is up and available. They're trying to corral everybody into a corner. EMP used.
Oh, and Mickey going to get DMAC nearly immediately. After using that self-destruct, going to be in a lot of trouble here. Yeah, that EMP from Taimu, though, didn't get them a whole lot as London is on the point, and they are going to be hard to dislodge, if not impossible.
Yeah, they didn't have any follow-up damage as they were cut off from actually executing that as London fell so far back down the street.
Well, Dallas back in it again. They don't want to give up this point that easily. Now Effective back on that Tracer, giving Prophet a bit of a hard time. They're zoning him into the room a bit, but Coco is taken out. Chips is going to bring him right back up again, but Birdring still on that high ground, and now he's got the tac visor. This could be bad for Dallas. They need to get up there and stop him, but so far, no good. As looks like Birdring is going to unload enough damage for Bedosin and the rest of London to finish off Dallas Fuel.
Yeah, they saw the tac visor from Harry Hook go down at the beginning of that fight and not pick up any kills, so Birdring with the high ground notices that Mickey's not going to be able to dash up to him to prevent him from dealing damage with that defense matrix, and makes the most of it. Taimu now onto the McCree. Not going to have the same opportunities to get those hacked health packs with Sombra, but not an effective defense overall, really, for the Dallas Fuel.
Yeah, London with a couple ultimates to bring into point B, too. Taimu over on the McCree now. At this point, though, I mean, we know about Nabani point B, and it's nearly never held. Although Effect getting a kill on Prophet, every little bit helps. They're going to go ahead and stop them for a moment, at least.
Yeah, quick kill. That's going to be enough to move them all the way back. Coco playing aggressively outside of their spawn right now. He and Mickey are just waiting on the bridge over the spawn doors.
Yep. That's right.
Prophet is coming around the flank. Trying to kill some of those supports.
Well, Gesture got really low, too. They went ahead and used the pulse bomb on him, but Effect couldn't find the kill. Now Birdring advancing. So Dallas eating up a lot of time on the time bank here. Already on point B. They may be in trouble now. Oh, Coco down, banned in the room. Rez comes in. Taimu taken out, though. Birdring taking matters into his own hands, but then taken out by the self-destruct. Rez again, of course. And Dallas scrambles to try to hold some semblance of control on the payload. Mickey being annoying on the side, but he will drop at some point here. Yeah, Harry Hook the kill on the Birdring, so it's just a long, protracted fight. Kills on both sides, but slowly but surely it seems like London is moving up, and they're building a lot of ults in the process.
Yes, they are, but the problem is that Nuss already used the Valkyrie. Chips held on to his, and it was a 5v6, and you still haven't seen any kills or any movement. Yeah. So as Taimu returns right now, it's like there's not going to be an opportunity for him to do much, but the stall was pretty good. They did force many ultimates out of London as the price for that push.
Yeah, those ultimates built and used as London finally gets going, but that was a pretty good stall on point B. I mean, already right there, if they don't do anything else, that's already a good amount of time taken away from the London Spitfire.
And they're going to have plenty more opportunities.
They've got another chance, yeah.
They will have another chance to make this work. Gesture positioning on the high ground, and you can see Prophet attempting to surprise Effect, deal some damage as he comes out of the choke point.
That's right, trying to get in behind Coco here. On to Harry, waiting to see if Taimu can get anyone. No, nobody. They do push them back, though. There is such a thing as a zoning ultimate.
And it does make way for the Valkyrie.
Oh, Harry Hook caught by that self-destruct, too.
And they have no more resurrection charges either, so without anybody on the payload.
Yeah.
Just move straight on through. 2 minutes and 40 seconds left to push through point C.
And they're going to keep 3 people on that payload, or else I would think they would want to, because Dallas Fuel could still stop them, and there's only about 2.5 minutes left for them to push through point C. This is where it gets tricky if you're London.
Effects depth there, a bit needless. He wasn't stalling the payload out at all, and it means some free movement on the cart. Coco wants to switch over to the Reinhardt right now to more safely approach the payload. Not too many flanking options on this point.
Self-destruct, anticipated Tracer being there, but she wasn't. Birdring back around the corner again, and now they're going forward. Mickey trying to cover for his team just a little bit. Birdring needs to really be careful of those flanks. In fact, trying to find him. He's got that dead eye. Oh, Coco did fall. That's an opportunity for London as they move forward here. More kills coming in, and the Valkyrie paving the way. There we go. He's been waiting a long time for that one. Finally, the flashbang connects, and he takes down Effect. Birdring.
That's only Taimu left, Doa.
Yep, that's not going to be enough to stop this payload right now. Can Dallas get anyone there in time? No, they can't. And that will be round one complete. London gets it all the way to the end of Nimbani.
Yes, they do, and you have to wonder if Dallas Fuel had a more effective push when they had the Valkyrie advantage towards the end of point B, because with that investment and the fact the cart got tapped in there meant that there was a big edge for London when it came to pushing that last point.
All right. Well, only about 1:30 left on the clock, so a good attack run for London, but not something that's insurmountable by Dallas, certainly.
No, the first hold was good for them.
Yeah.
And as we start to line up in this game...
That's Coco's excited face, by the way. You wouldn't know it, but
it's also coincidentally a sad face.
It's subtle. It's subtle, but it's true. He knows they've got a shot.
Well, this defense seems like it will be pretty standard from the side of London, except for Bedosin running the Ana, which is standard on this map even to this day, but otherwise maintaining the Soldier 76 and still running the double support, unlike what we saw from the Fuel. Looks like we'll be getting something quite similar from Dallas, except with the Lucio. Harry Hook moving back over to that hero and not going to be going for the Zenyatta, so wanting that speed boost to efficiently move them onto the point.
That's right. Now, we've seen them go as far as to use things like quad tank in the past to get really aggressive with that Lucio, but
you know,
I don't think we're going to see that this time.
Yeah, problem with Nimbani is that you try and run that quad tank, sure you can get right onto the point, but it becomes a shooting gallery because you don't have the necessary movement to contest the high ground, so gets a bit awkward.
So something more standard coming out from Dallas. Moving ahead with Harry Hook here. And we'll see what Taimu can do on that Soldier 76. One of the heroes he's played quite a bit of over the years, of course. Harry Hook getting really low, taken out immediately. Whoa, he went in there and there was just no protection. Chips dying as well. That is really weird that they lost both supports so quickly.
Well, the big factor was Bedosin hit almost all of them with a biotic grenade as they came in.
Yeah.
So without that healing, made it a lot easier to pick them off, and it's very transparent when you're running the Lucio that you're going to be running through on the low ground up the main alley and trying to collapse onto the side.
Let's watch that again.
I will keep you here.
Now, here we go. It's very exciting.
Yep.
He's gonna hit the ladder grenade. Oh,
wow, he just lobbed it in there, man. That was
it was a good one.
Made it look easy. All right, Taimu taken down already. As Dallas comes in, they do get one pick, though, as the fight was taken far off the point. Thus falls, so no mercy for London Spitfire. Maybe something that Dallas can capitalize on. They've nearly got it already. They've just zoned out London, and they will get the payload moving very quickly.
Yeah, Taimu sprinting back to the point on the Soldier 76.
Oh, and then die.
And then die, you know.
Oh, but Mickey's there.
Like you do. Yeah, Mickey's there.
I got this, guys. Don't worry.
Popping that card. Taimu has to get all the way back, though. Everyone else spawning close to the payload. Looks like the timing will be okay as he makes it back, just as his teammates get onto the payload. So now, an opportunity here for Dallas to make a significant push.
And here's where they really got to make up some ground, man. This is where they stopped London Spitfire, and if they can move through point B quickly, they'll have a nice little edge coming into C. Taimu in a lot of trouble now. Zoned out, taken out. Birdring died on the other side. Both teams sans Soldier.
And Mickey's still pushing forward, and with Effect winning the Tracer duel against Prophet, nobody's going to be able to get close to this payload. And we do have a nano boost available now, so I'm not sure how long Bedosin wants to stay on this Ana.
Wow, that was a bold DMAC onto Fury there. Effect just walking right up in front of Diva and saying, all right, hey, use your right click. And then as soon as that defensive matrix was down, he just tosses it right in her face.
Yeah, he does. So Gesture's going to come back in. We're about to start this fight one more time.
Yeah.
Valkyrie's been used. Where is the nano boost going? Is it going onto the Winston? It's going on to, it's like the tack visor.
Now tack visor, some of that getting eaten by the defensive matrix here. Sound barrier comes in for Dallas now, trying to just grind out a fight right on top of the payload here. But the dive from London Spitfire getting into the back lines. Mickey can't quite counter dive, does get away from the pulse bomb at least. And Chips does end up getting taken out by Gesture in that Primal Rage. They're not done yet, though. They nearly got it through to point B. Coco does fall, though. So now
the Sting!
The double kill! Effect with the hero play, but can they get it through to the rest of point B? That's their chance. That's their opportunity.
It's not. Dirt Prophet and Bird Ring still alive.
I don't know.
On the point, so they clean it up.
That was as close as it can get, just 0.62 meters. And they would have had point B, but despite the heroic efforts of Effect, they couldn't get it there.
Yeah, without the actually being on the payload itself does make things difficult. Now they can. Right. However,
after all that, they just come in and nudge it forward, and that's it. All right.
Only a couple DPS players to maintain that presence, so not enough HP to make sure they can stay on the payload. Still, 4 minutes, 10 seconds, so ample time for the fuel.
Yep.
To work back on this map. They do have to wait for Effect, though, and they're going to use that time to move up onto the high ground as a team.
That's right. Moving as a unit today, much better than they did in their match against Houston. Ooh, gotta watch out for that pulse bomb. Nobody going down, though. Taimu meets Tracer in the hallway, runs the opposite direction. Bird Ring with the kill onto Coco, so a tank out of the way now.
Yeah, Coco launched himself into the enemy team, but immediately got flashbanged, so no opportunity to get away from the members of the London Spitfire, and this will be a reset for Dallas.
Yep, Harry Hook still on that Lucio. You know, you see a lot of players switch over to the Zenyatta at this point, but he's going to stick with it. It is his support hero of choice.
And he's also very close to the sound barrier, so...
True enough.
They have enough time that he could get a sound barrier off, switch back to the Zenyatta if he needs to.
He could still have a trance, too.
Yeah, still have a trance as well, like you say. So I think this is smart for now. We don't want to really ruin your ability to contest with these ultimates. Already has the sound barrier. This may be the go button.
Yeah, Coco very low already. He's going to drop the sound barrier. Oh, Coco falls anyway, though. Mickey takes out Bird Ring with the self-destruct, and Taimu getting juggled. Can't get the kill onto Gesture. Meanwhile, back at the payload, it's still moving forward just a bit, but now London turning their attention back to it. The ult comes in from Chip, so the reses as well, but Prophet in action to get the kills. Looks like that might be about it. Yeah, London coming back strong with these reses here, and Mickey demec'd. It was a valiant effort for Dallas, but London able to get a little bit of control over this payload here. Still 2.5 minutes here, so like we said, Harry swapping over to that Zenyatta. They've got time to build up those support ultimates another time and make another good push.
Yeah, I think that's exactly what you need now is Harry Hook actually being able to use his orbs to target down members of the Spitfire and make sure they have the necessary damage. So if they're calling good targets, they can more efficiently pick people off. And
speaking of picking people off, both Effect and Coco falling right there. Coco just carved off of the rest of his team.
Still, though, Prophet in the back lines. As we see right now, he's looking for a chance to get onto these supports. Doesn't find the opportunity. Will recall back around.
Prophet's become quite annoying on this Tracer, and with no McCree on the Dallas side, there's not a lot they can do to stop him from just plaguing them.
Yeah, but Mickey did delay him, and he doesn't have any HP, so means they're going to go all in. He gets Taimu, surprisingly. Dropped it onto the ground.
Yeah, I got Taimu a little bit too close to that one, I guess. Bird Ring turning, no flashbang onto effort.
Okay, so all 6 members up with that resurrection, and a minute remaining. Nuss still has a Valkyrie available for his use. Taimu wants to engage with a tactical visor.
But taken out immediately as he does so. Great fight for London. That's an ultimate I think Taimu wishes he would have had back.
Yeah, but he's going to switch onto the McCree, so...
that makes sense.
That's what he wanted to do. He knows that Prophet's been playing solo in the back line. So if Prophet tries to extend again, he can be punished. True. By the McCree, but there's very little time to accomplish that goal. Effect is actually saved by the defensive matrix.
Yeah, really close call there. Oh, and a closer call as the missiles find their mark. Now Dallas, after Effect comes back, have maybe one more push before we will be into overtime. They need to get it done right now.
Prophet's going to be changing his approach. No longer going deep into enemy lines, no longer wanting to get caught out.
Yep, playing it safe. And here we go, Primal Rage already for Coco. Mickey coming forward, Effect taken down though. They found him on the outside of the fight. The sneakiness didn't end up working out. Now Prophet has an opportunity. Pulse Bomb, if he can stick it. Harry Hook in a lot of trouble, there it is. Transcendence comes out though, both support ultimates used. Murdering taken down by the Pulse Bomb, we're into OT. Nuss drops to the self-destruct, so Dallas maybe with a chance here.
Nuss dropped with his Valkyrie. He had every opportunity. Both charges of Resurrected already been used by Chips.
Well, that payload is moving, man, but the respawns are coming in for London. They gotta get on the payload in a hurry. Dallas getting closer and closer. Can they do it? Here come the respawns. Gesture really low. They take out the monkey. Oh, Nuss comes in with the Resurrect just in time. Valkyrie, you know the payload. They can't get to the payload. And we are going to the time bank round.
Gesture walks away from the payload.
Man.
And it just rolls straight in.
Yeah.
I mean, unfortunately, for the Dallas Fuel, the best they can do with that overtime is get a draw now, so they've still lost this match. But
that's the thing, yeah. They finished in OT, so no matter what, London will be winning this one, but Dallas Fuel at least with a chance to come away with a tie in one map.
Yeah, that's about the best they can hope for. A minute and a half on the defense now.
Yep.
Looks like even though in the past we've seen Taimu go on to the Torbjorn in situations like this, he will be playing the Sombra once again.
That's right. Well, despite any results, certainly a stronger showing for Dallas Fuel. They've really made London work for it today. And it's kind of surprising. I mean, the experimentation is good. We knew this team needed to kind of rework some things to do better down the line, but you can really see kind of what a night and day difference some of these lineups are.
It's just Dallas Fuel is such an enigma because they are going to be 0-4 now, but yet they've had competitive series with both Seoul and London.
It's odd. It was like it was the best of teams, it was the worst of teams. You really don't know where to put these guys, but numbers-wise, they're going to be down at the bottom here for a little while.
They have had a difficult strength of schedule to start the season off with.
They have.
And so as we move in, there will be more time for them to find their bearings.
Effect hunting people. Mickey gets a kill in a gesture early on. Oh, sneaky cowboy. The spurs give you away, though, oftentimes. It's hard to be sneaky in spurs.
Why does he wear spurs when he is never seen on a horse?
I don't know. Maybe he hops on Orisa once in a while.
I would love for that to be a combo.
That's what I always thought, man. Well, Chips brings back Harry Hook. Is now London going in. That's what Orisa's ultimate should have been in. Engage with right.
Giddy up. We'll call it giddy up.
Giddy up. That's great. We should be game designers. Here we go. London slowly pushing onto the point. They're trying. Dallas Fuel still on that high ground. Ooh, Harry drops again. Birdring finds another kill. Coco falls as well. Good opportunity for London. They only need that first tick to win the map, and those are the kills they're looking for. That's going to be it. London Spitfire will take the 3-1 victory over Dallas Fuel. Winning this match, they're going to go up 3-0 in the Overwatch League. Strong team, man. It is going to be tough to stop these guys. And the scary thing about London Spitfires, as time goes on, they're going to get even better at putting this mega roster together.
I think that's going to be true of both of these teams, though, Dala.
True enough.
Like, at least for the players they have right now, London had the right idea of stabilizing the roster coming into the season and slowly introducing new variables. Meanwhile, the Dallas Fuel, a bit more scattershot in their approach, and while it's made some matches close against some of the best teams in this league, they haven't been able to come away with a tangible map victory.
You know, I think if you're a Dallas Fuel fan, though, you have to look at this and say, by experimenting like this, by trying different things, you're giving up some wins now for theoretically more wins later, and you kind of have to look a little bit farther ahead with this one.
Yeah, I agree. I think that the Dallas Fuel roster, if they maintain it being static, it will be a good team, but it's not going to be the best team. By introducing new players that legitimately will help fix the flaws in their game and become more versatile, they have a chance to get better than what their ceiling would be with only using 6.
That's right. It's like reworking your golf swing. You're going to miss a lot of shots initially, but ideally you're going to be able to hit more hole-in-ones later. So, on that note, sending over the desk. Hey, they're ready. Hey, guys, how's it going?
I'm doing great. How are you guys doing?
We're good.
Fantastic finish to a great day here of Overwatch League. Welcome back to the desk as we break down the action between the Spitfire and the Dallas Fuel. Your final score, it's going to be 2-1, just like in their matchup against Seoul. Dallas falling just short. And we're going to start here, though, with the comeback tour of Dallas. They started to mix up the lineup a little bit going into game number 3. They bring in Seagull, and they get a big victory on Control. Let's start with the highlights here from Oasis. And Sideshow, I want you to walk me through some of the early moments.
Yeah, so Dallas choosing to run Seagull in this lineup, I mean, this was a fantastic... He just takes this tire all around the houses and a great finish to it. But focusing on the Dallas Fuel roster, they've taken Mickey out of the lineup and added Seagull for this kind of triple DPS composition, but Taimu's on the Roadhog, so you still have this strong tank core, and they were playing it very well. This is a great composition for them that has a lot of... it fits their heroes that they're really good at. It fits the map pretty well, even though it's a niche kind of pick that we haven't seen a lot of people do. And I think London had a bit of difficulty reacting to it.
Yeah, that's what I asked for at the start of the match. I wanted to see the Junkrat come out and potentially shut down Birdring and profit on the dives, of course. So as we saw it later on Oasis, they managed to take a map, and maybe if they utilized the anti-dive with the Junkrat a bit more, they maybe had a better chance of winning the series.
So better chance if you look at the other game types. But Dallas did walk away with the victory on Oasis, and Johnny has a telestration for us. This is the effect that Effect has on opponents.
Wow, thank you, Puckett. Yes, brilliantly. So I'm gonna try to keep this concise. Obviously, we have a 5-on-5 fight here. Behind Profit here, we see Nuss has gone down on the Mercy, and meanwhile, back in the spawn of Dallas Fuel, we see Harry Hook over here. So it's a 5 versus 5 fight, and now we're going to take a look at Profit in the center of the screen. And we're going to see that Taimu is going to get some shots on the Prophet, and Effect is going to finish him up. And they're up in a 4 versus 5 advantage. And so with that, we're going to see how London Spitfire react. So they're going to get this kill onto Prophet right here. And that's where the counter engage goes up for the London Spitfire. So Jester jumps in, Fury goes after, but those in on the Transcendence. And right around here, we can see that Effect on the Tracer. He has so much impact here. He's going to flank around and shut down Birdring on this Tracer, who's going for the back line to kill Harry Hook and to kill Seagull. And so as we play this one out, we're going to see that the Effect successfully managed to kill, or not kill Birdring, but at least deal some damage, gets a kill onto Bedosian, and then by himself he just shuts down Birdring's effectiveness throughout the fight, and with that Taimu and Coco managed to kill the tanks on the point.
Perfect demonstration of the effect that Effect had.
Grammar lesson.
As soon as I said it, I was like, Miss McGreevy, my English teacher, I'm so sorry for that one. Big win there for Dallas, and that's where we had hope for this squad. The lineup seemed to work, but now we're going into Numbani. They have to switch things up. They need the Diva, so they bring Mickey back in. Let's go to our 4th and final map of this series as we roll the highlights. Once again, very strong performance from the DPS from the London Spitfire.
Yes, they were fantastic. And with Prophet and Birdring, you always know that you're going to get unbelievably good performances. But I'm also very impressed with Gesture and Fury, the guy that you just saw on your screen. This tank duo, we talk about pre-existing rosters or pre-existing synergy with London Spitfire. These two had never played with each other coming into this, coming into the Overwatch League, and they are so good together. They're so tight. They're very aggressive. They go and make picks happen, and they just kind of abused and ran over Coco and Mickey. They couldn't keep up.
Coco definitely seemed to have some issues, and I think that is where they need to go back, watch the VODs, and see what went wrong today, because they seem to be just a little bit off in that final map. They did look better. Overall, the team is improving. And remember, this is just 4 games of the 40 before we get to our playoffs in July. But 0-4 start for the Dallas Fuel is not how they wanted to end our day here at the Blizzard Arena. Let's take a look at our total match schedule here for the day. Actually, before we get to that, we got to crown our player of the match. Here it is, your player of the match sponsored by Omen by HP. Johnny, we let you pick this, man. Who'd you go with?
I went with Prophet this time. So earlier yesterday, I said that Cybiolby probably is the best tracer in the world. Well, if there is someone who's actually going to make a claim for that title, it is Prophet, who's actually one of the better tracers in the world as well. But he's so versatile as well. We saw him on the Reaper, we saw him on the Junkrat, we've seen him on the Genji. He can just play so many heroes. So we talked about Rascal, of course, in the London Spitfire squad. He can flex to so many heroes. Well, Prophet can himself, and he's so good on all of these heroes. Just the last 3-4 months, I'd say that this guy really started to shine in Apex Season 4 and managed to win it.
Yeah, he was so good. He came out of essentially nowhere and has been picked up by this team, integrated in so well with this mixed roster that they're running, and he is a genuine superstar. This guy on Tracer, you can see some of his statistics here, and he's been on fire on such a range of heroes throughout this match. And alongside Birdring or Rascal or whichever, or Hureg or whoever they put him with, this guy really does perform well and provides so much of the punch that makes London so impressive on paper, and so far they've managed to deliver on.
Congratulations, Prophet, with our player of the match, sponsored by Omen by HP. That is our final player of the match for the day, and we got to walk you through the full results here on day 3 of week 2. It all started bright and early as we saw the Seoul Dynasty dismantle the Boston Uprising. Some close games there, but as expected, it's Seoul advancing to 4-0. We got the Shanghai Dragons falling at the hands of the Florida Mayhem, who get their first win in the regular season, and we just saw a good one between the Spitfire and the Fuel. Moving forward, though, we have to look at the big picture here. In our overall standings, you can see the fully Korean lineups of Dynasty, Spitfire, and New York XL locked down the first 3 placements. Our LA teams are right behind them, and then we get into the middle where we have the Houston Outlaws and the Philadelphia Fusion tied at 2-2. So that means tomorrow's games are going to have a major impact on our standings, and we got some good ones starting at 11 a.m.
Well, that one's going to be so good. Los Angeles Valiant, they look so clean and tight. They were coming up against NYXL and unfortunately just fell at that hurdle. But here's another opportunity to show themselves as a top team. They are the guys who are going to prove to the world that you don't need a full lineup of Koreans to hit the top of the table in the Overwatch League.
Johnny, what are you thinking at that 1 o'clock match? Who are you calling?
Gladiators Excelsior. It's going to be a good one, but Pine has really popped off, always on the control map. So can Hydration get through Pine's bullets? I don't know about that.
All right, and then at 3 o'clock, it is a major matchup for the teams in our bottom third. It's going to be Boston Uprising going up against San Francisco Shock. We'll see who can rise to the middle of the pack. It's been a great day, and on a real quick personal note, I want to mention that I will be out tomorrow at a death in the family, and we'll be at a funeral, but we have an awesome host coming in. Semler is going to be running the desk for the final day of week 2. It's going to be amazing, and we can't wait for you guys to join us once again. That's kicking off tomorrow, bright and early, 11 a.m. Pacific, here from the Overwatch League. We'll see you then.